Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You are checking out episode number 1067 of the RCWR Show for day one, this Monday night of January 1st, 2024. We made it. To everyone out there, Happy New Year. Sincerely, may 2024 be your best year yet. Go out there, nothing but to do it, right? As far as putting in the work goes. Really, I hope that for a lot of you guys, 2024, you make it be your best year ever. Hope your New Year's was great and that you didn't get yourself into any trouble, my pretty babies. I took it easy. Honestly, I had a couple of offers to go to a couple of parties, me and the missus, and it was just, we just want to relax, get ourselves back into the work groove, because many Americans out there go back to work officially on Tuesday. Although if you're kind of lucky, you may be able to go back on Wednesday. But then some are very fortunate to take a extended break and not actually go back until next week. But no, me and the missus, we kicked back. If anything, we caught up on some much needed rest because we had been burning both ends of the candle pretty hard in regards to work and then trying to get ready for the Christmas holiday and everything. And so more hours being spent into work, making sure family had everything that they needed for the holiday season. So it was just one of those cases where we kicked back, we relaxed, we caught up on some movies, stuff on the DVR. We spent most of the time catching up on Raising Kanan. I've seen all the episodes, and the wife knows this, but I've seen all the episodes, including all of the newest episodes for season 3 that's dropped. But it was just a matter of getting her caught up to speed and everything, and we banged it out this weekend to the point that as we stand right now here tonight on the show, we are now going into the 3rd season. So doesn't get any better than that as far as being in real time. She's been into it though. She's really been liking it. As far as favorite character so far goes for Raising Kanan, I like Marvin. You know, it's almost a tie. I like Marvin and I like Jukebox. For wifey, she really likes Jukebox. So it's been interesting just seeing how the character development has been going down and everything for those two characters and all of that. But yeah, very nice, very relaxful, caught up on so much needed, cleaning around the house and everything, getting ready for the work week, doing laundry, little stuff like that. All right, it's just nice and easy. How about that Monday Night Raw tonight? This was their day one edition. Remember, we had got day one by WWE last year, and it was basically in the form of a premium live event. And this go round, Monday Night Raw was dubbed day one. And as we see, NXT, they're going to have their own New Year's themed event. SmackDown later this week is going to have a themed event as well. And shout out to those of you that's live right now. Hopefully I'll be able to find it in a little bit, but I couldn't help but hear that there is some type of a WWE Peacock special that's going to be airing on Wednesday. If you guys remember that segment I'm talking about and you want to jog my memory on the specifics of that, I know it's something involving CM Punk as he's supposed to be making an appearance on this. Sound off, let me know in the chat exactly what the information was. Otherwise, I should have it at my end in a little bit once I'm able to do a little bit of research. But some really fun wrestling programming is in store if you're a WWE fan tonight. But honestly, the Monday Night Raw for tonight, normally any other time you go, not really expecting too much to happen here. And rightfully so, because you're coming fresh off of a weekend where majority of people are spending that quality time with their loved ones. And so wrestling news wise, it's a little bit quiet, but we're coming from out of a weekend where we had got from AEW their World's End pay-per-view event. Of course, the AEW media scrum that came afterwards where Tony Khan was just looking like a freaking joke, which we'll definitely talk about that here on the show because I was able to actually watch all of the media scrum. And of course, when I felt a little bit bored at some parts, I definitely fast forwarded when needed, but I did watch, I would say out of 100%, I watched 98% of the media scrum. So you'll appreciate some of the things I have to say in regards to that. We also got some wrestling predictions for this episode. For 2024, we'll be offering wrestling predictions for WWE, TNA, AEW. Also show some love out there for the indies as well. So sound off in the meantime. Let me know some of your predictions for 2024, be it wrestling or non-wrestling related. Maybe you got some personal goals you want to share in mind for 2024 to get the rest of the community going and strongly considering and all of that. Sound off and definitely let me know. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson making his triumphant return to the WWE tonight. Of course, we heard the rumblings from the weekend where allegedly a former WWE World Heavyweight Champion may be in the neighborhood for tonight's Raw, that maybe they were going to be making some type of an appearance. Leave it to Triple H to take to social media and neither confirm nor deny, but basically saying, hey, yo, you definitely, just to follow up on some of these reports that's being put out there, I can't confirm or deny, but what I will say is you need to watch Monday Night Raw starting at 8 p.m. Eastern because it's definitely going to have a lot of folks talking. And I love the way that this was set up and everything because we had the return of the modern day Maharaja himself, Jinder Mahal, appear. And of course, you're looking at this and you're just going, oh, it's. I wonder if I have the sound effect loaded up here. That's exactly how I felt when I saw Jinder Mahal come out. I'm going, yeah, he's a former WWE World Heavyweight Champion, but this isn't exactly. I got to be honest with you guys. I never considered Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I thought that maybe it was going to be Dave Bautista that was going to be coming out. I legit did because I know that there were some interviews some months back where Batista was asked, hey, would you ever consider coming back into wrestling? Would you ever do it again? Like if a really good idea came about from the WWE, would you entertain the idea of coming out of retirement and doing that match? And Dave Bautista was dead set. He basically said, look, I can be flat broke and no, I will not go back to, it will be a cold day in hell, basically is layman's terms what he was putting out there before he goes back into the wrestling ring again. And then of course, when everything was going down with those strikes, the Hollywood strikes, Dave Bautista all of a sudden he started to come around and say, well, you know what? If the right storyline came around and everything, yeah, maybe, just maybe I would entertain. So I was under the impression that maybe Triple H and him had sat down and they came up with a really cool idea. And I won't BS you guys. I will not BS you guys. there was a part of me that was thinking, if not Dave Bautista, maybe Bill Goldberg, for all the crap that he was putting out there and everything. A lot of people forget Goldberg is a former WWE champion as well, right? Even if you want to be technical and be like, well, yeah, but look at that respected title that you're talking about, Lee. It's not the official WWE, right? It depends on who you want to talk to, but I definitely will give the nod to Bill Goldberg. There was also a part of me that was thinking, okay, if it's not Dave Bautista, then maybe, just maybe, it is our man Bill Goldberg, who had caused a lot of ruckus online recently in interviews and everything, as we had highlighted on a previous show. I said, hey, why not talk to Triple H? If you were the people that did that interview with Bill Goldberg, and Bill Goldberg's taking a massive dump on Vince McMahon, you're going, okay, well, obviously, and we went over the timeline of what all was going on during that period of Bill Goldberg wrestling Roman Reigns, February 2023, out there in Saudi Arabia. And then a couple of months later, the stuff that went down with Vince. So even though he might have been promised XYZ by Vince McMahon, considering everything that was going on, right? And, if you remember, I said, wonder if he talked to Triple H about getting that retirement match and everything. So there was part of me that was thinking maybe Triple H had reached out, him, maybe Nick Khan, two of them, maybe they reached out and maybe some type of an arrangement was made. So I was prepared for one of those two names. I was not prepared for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And then, when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson came out, I said, son of a I literally said that. And the first thing that came to mind was that story that has circulated. It feels like maybe it circulated about 2 weeks ago, where, and I don't know if you guys remember this, because it was so quick. It came and went right down to the point that a lot of people in the podcasting world missed it, especially the most reputable folks out there with podcasts. They missed this. I even missed it, but like normally the most reputable ones are on top of it, but somehow it just, maybe because of the Chris Jericho news, I don't know, but there was some news that came about on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson some weeks back, where he had told some Make-A-Wish kids that he was greeting, visiting, and everything, that he was going to be coming back not only to the WWE, but that he was going to be wrestling again. He promised him that. And it was kind of one of those things where he told him, look, just stick around. And I promise you, you're not only going to see me return to the WWE, but I'm going to be doing some really cool stuff this go round. I'm actually going to be wrestling this go round. So stick around, and I want you to, it's going to be a really cool moment. So I want you to be able to see it. So as soon as I saw The Rock, I'm going, and I thought about that little piece of news item as Rock came out there interrupting the Jinder Mahal segment, and true Rocky form, he just laid out verbally Jinder Mahal. I mean, look, was some of the stuff a little bit watered down? Have we seen better verbal executions of opponents by The Rock? Yes, without a shadow of doubt. This is definitely something that's, as far as him going back and forth with Jinder Mahal, that's really something we're not truly going to remember. Instead, what we're really going to remember is after the smack it down on Jinder Mahal's candy ass goes, it was what The Rock had said afterwards that had got the entire wrestling community in a frenzy, in a hot frenzy. Oh my God, you just eat this stuff up. He said to the crowd, and I love how he baited them into this. The Rock is so brilliant at telling a story and just painting the picture so very well, and having the fans go with him on that journey of a storytelling. And The Rock says to them, The Rock has worked up an appetite. And I tell you what, The Rock is definitely going to go somewhere out here in San Diego, and he's going to get himself something to eat. And I don't know about you guys, but when I'm hearing this go down, I couldn't help but say to myself, oh man, we're really getting vintage Rock. Rock is about to start talking about pies and what's the best kind of pie to eat, considering we just came off of the holidays. And right, well, then again, there's never too, there's, what's the old saying, right? You can never have too much pie. There is no such thing as having too much pie. I was ready for Rock to go down one of those avenues, but instead he did a hard left. And he talked about how, when The Rock is going out to get something to eat, where should he sit? Should he maybe sit down at a booth? And he paused and asked the crowd. And the crowd, you can hear some people, woo! Oh, you got, okay, cool, right? It's only a couple of people that's doing it. And then he goes, or should The Rock maybe sit at a bar? So he says, should The Rock sit at a booth? He goes, should The Rock sit at a bar? And he's pausing on it. And you hear a couple of more, woo! And then the last line, The Rock goes, or should The Rock maybe be sitting at the head of the table? And that just, you just couldn't help but scream at that point and be like, yo, shots fired. Yo, we're actually doing this. We are actually freaking doing this. It was a great tease as he followed it up with, if you smell what The Rock is cooking. Yeah, Rock, we smell exactly what you're cooking, brother. And you know what? Ooh, it smells so divine. I'm definitely all in for that journey. So, giving us content creators some really good stuff to talk about here as the road to WrestleMania, as far as the plot goes, it thickens, right? It freaking thickens. Now, I know that there's a decent amount of fans out there that's going to be very vocal about this. And I've seen already a little bit of stuff online where people are going, well, wait, what does this mean for Cody Rhodes? Oh, man, Cody Rhodes is being buried in favor of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This is not fair to him. This is so... And it's so funny because the way that we initially titled the episode throughout social media and the thumbnail that we used, we're talking about wrestling predictions for 2024. And I'm not just saying this just to come off sounding cool. I legit mean this. One of the predictions that I was going to dive into for that respective portion of the show was I was going to tackle Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And I was going to jump out there and say The Rock will return to wrestle in 2024. More specifically, I see The Rock coming back to wrestle, if not by WrestleMania, definitely SummerSlam. That's where I was going with it. But now, because of everything that's transpired tonight, you're looking at this going, man, as the plot thickens, where are we going here with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Now, as many of you guys recall, there was an interview that The Rock had gave last year. No, it wasn't on the Joe Rogan podcast. It wasn't on there. It was another interview that The Rock did where the topic of, so what happened between you and the alleged match that was supposed to happen with Roman Reigns? Was it supposed to happen? Was it supposed to go down? By now everybody remembers that story, but just the bullet points of that, The Rock basically said, look, myself, WWE, we were talking, and there was actually plans put in motion to make it happen. It actually was supposed to happen at last year's WrestleMania, but some things have fell apart at the very end. And I remember when Rocky had put that out there were some members of the wrestling community that were upset at The Rock for putting that out there, because their whole thing was, why put that out there? That's really a secret that should have been kept to the vest, to continue and let fans think and wonder what's going on, if The Rock is maybe going to come back at some point and challenge Roman Reigns, while Roman has been on this longest win streak with the championship. Some people were legit irritated, some upset at the fact that Rock had put that information out there, as they felt he was revealing
too much, especially if it's a case where the two sides could maybe come back to the table and renegotiate. I didn't have a problem with it whatsoever. I thought it was cool for Rock to just give us a peek behind the curtain and let us know, hey, look, not for nothing, I've been paying attention to what my cousin's been doing for these past couple of years. The man's been on a freaking roll, and I love what the man is doing. I mean, it's a great story arc, and yeah, if everything aligns perfectly and we've got the right story arc, heck yeah, I would love to be in a position where I can work with my family. Sure, why not? And I know for us podcasters, we definitely had made our respected rounds just entertaining the whole idea, how we can bring The Rock into the mix and all of that, and stretching it out, maybe even getting Tamina Snuka involved in everything. So the fact that The Rock had revealed that in the interview he did last year, I couldn't help but say, yo, my interpretation, yo, Rock really wanted to do this. And the fact that he's putting this out there, right? He's teased it on social media a couple of times off and on over the years. So, and we know how much he stays tuned in, checking out the WWE product and everything. I looked at what he said in that interview as just his love for Roman, you know, his cousin, his love for what's happening with that story arc. And, I wanted to do this for the fans, but we couldn't really make it happen, unfortunately. And it kind of seemed as though Rock still wanted to try and do something. So it's kind of amazing, to my whole point, how everything just comes back. And this was, well, look, it's still early, right? He teased it. And nothing is official until we actually see these two men in the ring across from one another, right? And that the challenge is put out there, boom, and then we got ourselves a match. Nothing is official until we actually see some things materialize, right? Right. So that now brings us to the next question. It's a two-part question. We already teased Cody Rhodes, so you already know the second part to that question, which we'll address in a little bit. But the first part to that question is, what's going on here? If this match were to go down, when is this match going to go down? So look, we've got the Royal Rumble that's going to be coming up in a handful of weeks, right? So obviously, that's definitely a place where you can do it. You could definitely do it there. Why give Roman Reigns the night off? Sure, you're going to have your women's Royal Rumble match, which is going to be about 45 minutes up to an hour. Your men's Royal Rumble, which is going to be about 45 minutes up to an hour, maybe an hour plus, hour, 10 minutes or whatever, right? So you're already looking at about 2 hours right there. You definitely got to squeeze in at least 3 more matches. We know WWE isn't going to try to pull a move and give us 10 matches. They're going to try to give us, as far as Royal Rumble goes, they're going to try to give us at least 5, 7 matches tops. You got to have one of those matches be for the WWE Heavyweight Universal Championship. I personally feel. So my point, you could do it there. St. Petersburg, Florida. The Rock is from Florida. I mean, it makes sense if you want to do it there. Okay, definitely makes sense. Now, your next pay-per-view or premium live event after that is going to be NXT Vengeance Day. That will be happening February 4th of 2024. After that, we've got, what is it here? It looks like NXT Stand and Deliver, which is going to be on April the 6th. And then we have WrestleMania. Actually, you know what? Let me back up a second. What's this about Elimination Chamber? Hang on here. Correction. Elimination Chamber. Perth is going to be coming up on February 24th in Australia. That's right. I almost forgot about that one. Yeah. I almost forgot about Chamber in Australia. So look, as far as Rock and Roman goes, you can either do it at the Royal Rumble, or you can do it at the Elimination Chamber. You can definitely do it at one of those two events. If you're asking me straight up for my personal opinion, you want me to call it, 90% of the time I've called it correct over the years. I personally feel it's going to be happening at one of those two pay-per-views that I just mentioned. I'm not quite convinced that it's going to be The Rock at WrestleMania. However, I did put some thought into, well, what if it gets to Rock, Roman at WrestleMania? How do you explain this in such a way where Cody Rhodes is still going to be in a position where he can finish his story? Thought about it a lot. Look, I think when it's all said and done, Cody Rhodes will definitely win the Royal Rumble. He will definitely win the Royal Rumble. He will punch in his ticket to main event WrestleMania. He will definitely be coming after Roman Reigns for that World Heavyweight Universal Championship. There's definitely no mistake about it. I do not see this being a case where, it's going to be Cody taking on The Rock for that championship. No, I don't see that going down. I do not see that going down. Cody will win the Rumble without a shadow of doubt. He will win the Rumble. And then he'll go to WrestleMania. Now, as far as if The Rock versus Roman Reigns match will have gone down before we get to WrestleMania, that's where things get a little bit, because WWE understands something here, and this is why we're going on and on and on about this. WWE is in a really cool position right here because Roman Reigns could essentially do double duty on both nights of WrestleMania, because remember, WrestleMania is going to be a 2-night event. So night one, or one of those nights for the main event, could see The Rock take it on Roman Reigns for the championship. And then the very next night, it's Cody Rhodes punching in his Royal Rumble match win opportunity to face Roman Reigns. So Roman could do double duty WrestleMania weekend. That's one scenario in which WWE, they could easily just play off of that and they can make it happen. But then there's the other idea of, okay, well, look, we're going to have Royal Rumble be in Florida, The Rock, the history with Florida. I mean, it makes perfect freaking sense. It makes so much freaking sense. It makes even more sense to even do it in Australia there for that Elimination Chamber event, because this is the first Australian pay-per-view live event or premium live event that Australia is getting for WWE, first time ever, or if not, in some decades or whatever. So if you really wanted to make that be a juggernaut, sellout, blockbuster hit, you can even save Roman and The Rock for that event as well. So understand where I'm coming from here. Now, if you want me to really narrow it down, my personal preference, you're asking me for my personal preference? My personal preference would be, well, that depends. What has been going on with SmackDown? I know the last time I had watched SmackDown, they had teased that Roman Reigns was getting ready to come back. And I believe they said something along the lines of he's basically going to address everything that... I think the last time I watched SmackDown, unless something has changed, Randy Orton is gunning after Roman Reigns right now, correct? So if that continues to remain intact, then follow that path out. At the Royal Rumble, it could actually be Randy Orton taking on Roman Reigns for the title. Randy comes up short. Then you go into Elimination Chamber out there in Australia, and you got two options. Either you have Randy Orton and Roman Reigns run it back for the Chamber, or you go on ahead and have Rock and Roman at the Chamber But yo, if I were a betting man, and I never bet against WWE here, man. If you're able to acquire the services of The Rock, I just feel, yo, if you're gonna do this, do it on the grandest stage of them all. Freaking do that bad boy at WrestleMania. So I'm putting all my marbles in on WrestleMania. WWE has so many good options right now as far as how they want to do this, but ultimately everything comes down to The Rock's availability, what's going on with him. Now, some of you may ask this question, which is actually a really good question, and that is, well, Lee, is The Rock filming anything right now? Right? Because we know a lot of stuff tends to be in post-production, with some of these guys and girls. And when it's in post-production, that just basically means the film is done. Now they're just doing some editing. Maybe they're messing around with some sound effects, things of that nature, right? So to answer your question, right now I'm seeing that according to IMDb, The Rock has 11 upcoming projects. I'm seeing something called Red 1, which is in post-production. I'm seeing Fast X Part 2. He's returning as Hobbs. That's in pre-production. That's not supposed to come out until 2025. I see something called Moana, which is in production right now. We've got another one called Doc Savage, which is in development. I'm seeing Red Notice 2, which is in development. I see a untitled Fast and Furious film, pre-production. Manning Cast TV series, pre-production. Big Trouble in Little China. Wait, we're doing a remake to that? That's a Kurt Russell classic. Leave my classics alone, man. That's in production. San Andreas 2 is in development, and The King is in development. Now, some of you guys may hear me say in development, in production. Lee, what's the difference between in development and in production? When something is in development, that basically means they're finalizing the script. They're still in the process of hiring all the actors that they need, and all the positions that, need to be filled. Grip, maybe executive producer, wardrobe, like all of that stuff, right? So to my whole point, all that in mind, what you really want to be focusing in on is the stuff that is, and then pre-production, that's pretty obvious, right? They're about to go into production, right? So the ones that you want to follow up on, home in on right now, is the stuff that is in production right now. And by the looks of it, that is 1, 2. I'm seeing 2 things. Actually, wait, 1, 2. Thought I saw 3 for a second. Just give me a chance to look at this one more time. So he's got 2 things that's in production right now, which is Moana and Red Notice 2. So I would imagine between now and basically when WrestleMania goes down, he's going to be busy filming those things out, and then maybe he'll start to do a little something as far as those joints that's in pre-production. That's pretty close to going into in production, or production. I would imagine that by the time we get to WrestleMania season, he probably will be done with all of his parts for Moana and for Big Trouble in Little China. And then there'll just be just enough free time for him, do what he needs to do at WrestleMania, rest up for a couple of days, then go back, film whatever else that he needs to film. You feel where I'm coming from? So I'm thinking WrestleMania, though. I'm definitely thinking WrestleMania is when everything is going to be going down with The Rock. I really believe in my heart of hearts we're going to see our man Roman Reigns do some double duty there, man. So, but look, before everybody starts having a cow over this whole Cody Rhodes and, he's being buried, this is so unfortunate. Cody's not going to be able to tell his story. Oh, this is some crud and all this other crap. take a step back and just no. Cody is still the anointed one. He is still the chosen one. He is still going to go in when it's all said and done. Mark my words. I guarantee. And if I'm wrong, I will be on this show and I will spend 5 minutes WrestleMania weekend apologizing to you all. But I guarantee you, WrestleMania weekend, when it's all said and done, Cody will be your next WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion. Bank on that. What a great time to be a wrestling fan, by the way. Are you all really starting to sincerely feel the vibes that I had mentioned off and on the show here these past couple of weeks when I said, man, the WWE roster, it is just top heavy as right now. And now that you've got CM Punk back into the mix, it literally feels like how WWE was when we rewinded back almost 10 years ago when he was last in the company. WWE was top heavy as back then, right? I mean, so many great story arcs that you had going on as well that, you know, you look at what's happening currently and it's almost like that 2014, like, obviously we had some rough periods the past couple of years, but it almost feels like if you took a long, deep sleep, it almost feels like you didn't miss anything. And it really is a great time to be a WWE fan right now because you see all these great things that's going on in the company right now. Really, you know, a lot of great things that's going on. You know, and look, some people may take this news as good, but then you'll have some that'll take the news as bad. Kevin Dunn, after working for the WWE for, what is it, damn near over 3 decades or whatever, if not a little bit more, he put in his notice, apparently right before the Christmas holiday break, that he was going to be leaving the WWE effective immediately. You're looking at that, you're going, whoa, what the hell is going on here? Now, before anybody goes, oh, yo, AEW, or, you know, it looks like he is just content on retiring. He's not interested in working for anybody else. Now, look, I would imagine anybody has a price, right? Everybody's got a price, to quote the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Everybody's got a price. But this has got to be the one case where, as far as predictions go, you know, I know we got a whole segment dedicated to it later on in the show, but as far as have we seen the last of Kevin Dunn? Is Kevin Dunn truly done? Is he going to stay retired? Yeah, I honestly believe that the man is going to stay retired. I think at this point, the next time that we'll hear from Kevin Dunn is when some type of a memoir is maybe going to be released. I can see him reflecting on his time in the WWE. Make no mistake about it. He's not going to use that memoir as an opportunity to spill his guts and reveal some dirty little secrets. I don't see that happening. So prepare for disappointment. But I can definitely see him penning some type of a memoir talking about his time in the WWE. For sure. I can definitely see that. So a lot of fun, you know, great moment. I mean, this is going to be a great talking point for a lot of folks in the wrestling community this weekend, considering the weird week and a half that we had from AEW. It's nice to be able to talk about something positive, although you watch that media scrum from the weekend from AEW. Oof, we'll get into that. Look, as far as WWE RAW goes, because I know when we come on Monday nights, we usually talk about, you know, key points, highlights from Monday's Raw and everything. So, look, really hope you appreciate that whole stuff with The Rock. You know, we went pretty in-depth on that one. The rest of the show tonight was honestly about average because, sincerely, you take The Rock's whole thing, really, that stuff he said on the microphone afterwards, after beating down Jinder Mahal, you take that away, you take The Rock away from the show altogether, and you had yourself an episode that was, you know, honestly, If you didn't record it because you were drunk somewhere, crashing on your friend's sofa, or maybe you went out to go see a movie or whatever, enjoy the weather, you were okay. This wasn't really, right? But some decent stuff here on tonight's show. For instance, this may shock a lot of you guys. I enjoyed the match between Nia Jax and Becky Lynch. I enjoyed the hell out of that. I thought that this was one of Nia Jax's finer performances in the ring. I loved the big feel, fight feel energy, synergy that was coming, not just from this match, but from both women here in this bout. Loved it big time. Um, some parts of the match was a little bit cinder blockish. What do I mean by that? I felt like at times both girls were kind of, it felt as though the way they were moving in the ring, they had cinder blocks for feet, right? There's some spots that was just a little bit sloppy and everything, but I tell you what, every single time Nia Jax was on the offense, I mean, it was looking as though she was sincerely putting the hurt in there on our girl, Becky Lynch. And I was loving it, especially towards the end when I believe Becky Lynch had came from off of the top rope and Nia just caught her with a right hand, just laid her out. I mean, it almost reminded me of Big Show. That was actually my favorite run of Big Show, by the way, was when Big Show was just laying out people left and right with that right hand, that devastating right hand of God, as I like to call it. I mean, just laying out mofos left and right with just that one punch. And we had Nia Jax pretty much becoming the female Big Show there with that freaking right hand, knocked out Becky Lynch, and then sets herself up in between the corners there, basically setting up the Annihilator, and just 1, 2, 3, picking up the win that way over Becky Lynch. I got to tell you, I was quite surprised. I know a lot of people on social media were surprised that Nia had picked up the win here, because you just thought, yo, this is just screaming Becky Lynch here. When you're following the angle, you're going, this is Becky Lynch all the way, because Becky Lynch has to validate that what all had went down with her so many years ago when Nia Jax unintentionally hit, Becky Lynch in the face, made her bust open all that blood and everything. Becky Lynch had to prove that, man, like, just get me and you in the ring, and I'll show you can not only go toe to toe, but I can tap that ass. Seriously. So the fact that this went the opposite and in favor of Nia Jax, just, you're looking at that and you're going, damn, that is stunning. And then also at the same time, when you're looking at how things played out, you're also going, well, you know what? Even the most anti-hardcore, let me flip those. Even the most hardcore anti-Nia Jax fan has to take a step back and say, you know what? I may not like Nia, but I will give WWE credit. They are really trying to build this girl up, and right down to the point, you're looking at what's been happening with her, particularly in singles competition, and the girl has been practically undefeated, per se. So they're trying to do this woman justice and really build her up accordingly and everything. And I'm definitely all fine for that. Now, look, I'll be honest with you guys. When I see Nia Jax do that stuff in the corner, in between the ropes there, she basically climbs up to that middle rope, and then she just banzai drops on her opponent. I still am very squeamish when that goes down. I am very, very, very squeamish. I know that there were earlier times where Nia would just let go way too early of the ropes, and that could just been very devastating for her opponent underneath, because that's going to be some serious chest problems and all of that. but she's been doing a better job in executing that move. And she definitely had that move be very on point tonight, and a very, right down to the point, I felt it was safely executed on Becky Lynch tonight. So I love this for what it was worth. Decent amount of time that was given to the girls here and telling their story. Cody Rhodes coming out. Cody Rhodes wanting to finish his respected chapter with Shinsuke Nakamura. He's in his wrestling gear. He's ready to throw it down. Shinsuke Nakamura appearing on the Titantron. We pretty much got a recap of a American Nightmare before Christmas, and essentially Shinsuke Nakamura popping up in a new animated production video package, right? What we've been seeing the past couple of weeks, basically letting Cody Rhodes know, not this week, next Monday on Raw, we'll do this one-on-one for sure. So Cody, not a fan of that, but you know what? It is what it is. Now, remember what all I was talking about there and the praise that I had gave to Nia Jax and Becky Lynch. And look, make no mistake about it, their match, it wasn't 5 stars, 10 stars. But it was a decent match. Honestly, it was a decent match for what it was worth. My expectations was so low going into that match that by the time I finally was able to see it, I'm going, okay, this is actually better than how I was envisioning it. Okay. We go into this next match where you're just going, man, I hope this dude's okay, because of the spot that had occurred. Kofi Kingston and Jey Uso. Let me put some respect on that name. Main event Jey Uso teaming up to take on Imperium's Giovanni, Vinci, and who's the other guy there? I always forget the name of the other guy, and that's a damn shame. Ludwig Kaiser. So we saw a scary spot go down here after the match went for about, I would say, 5, maybe possibly 6 minutes. There was a commercial break in there, but we had got a split picture-in-picture break. Honestly, for a majority of tonight's 3-hour Raw broadcast, anytime there was a commercial break, like 90% of the time, we were able to continue to see the action in a picture-in-picture break. So kudos to WWE for doing that. Production-wise, just kind of going back to the whole Kevin Dunn effect, by the way, right? We're so used to the Kevin Dunn, cutaway scenes and just how he likes to splice in certain things during the broadcast and everything. Tonight's production had a little bit more of a loose feel to it. I don't know if you guys had picked up that same vibe, if you had those same impressions as you were watching it, but it felt a little bit more loose. We did not do as many frequent camera shots. Shout out if you've seen Bohemian Rhapsody. Those camera shots alone in that one, it definitely would have swore Kevin Dunn was hired there, man, because it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. I mean, it's just ridiculous what's going on there with those camera angles, man. But no, we saw a scary situation go down in this tag match where Giovanni, Vinci, Kofi Kingston, they were the legal men. They're throwing it down in the ring, and we see Giovanni come off of the ropes. He's trying to get in a attack on Kofi. Kofi ends up sending Giovanni Vinci into the corner. Giovanni tries very quickly to climb up on the top rope, and he's looking for some type of I don't know if he was looking for maybe a crossbody or a double axe smash, whatever he was looking for. Kofi catches him as he's coming off that top rope with a drop kick. And it was a well-executed drop kick by our man Kofi Kingston. But Kofi's right foot had caught the left side of Giovanni Vinci's jaw. And just, I mean, if that wasn't some serious whiplash, I don't know what was, but caught him right up under the jaw. And then as Giovanni Vinci was hitting down, his head, the back of his head, actually hit the canvas. And so immediately we had the WWE referee just go right in and check on Vinci. And he immediately started fidgeting around the back of his headset and everything. We know the WWE referees, usually they got some type of a control box on them where they're able to communicate to the people in the back and all of that. Shout out to that referee and his quick thinking, because he realized immediately, something is not right here with Giovanni Vinci. This guy needs to be checked out immediately. And so there was a doctor that was actually on hand that slid in there trying to check on Vinci, and just decided, yeah, you know what, this match, no, we need to be done with this. And the referee had called for the bell. So you knew something was up when the cameras had just went immediately to home man on Kofi and Jey Uso. And they both have this serious, concerned look on their face. They're trying to sell, hey, man, come on, we want to fight. We're ready to fight. They're trying to sell those facial expressions with their body language and all that, right? The body language might have been there trying to sell that, but the facial expressions was, what is going on with this guy? Is he okay? Seriously, like, what the hell is going on here? And it stayed that way for a good minute, but unfortunately, the match was stopped. Referee halted the action. Doctor jumped in, called the match off. The referee in question, Sean Bennett. Great job. A really, really great freaking job. Look, I'm not taking any digs at any particular wrestling promotion, but if you guys want to take it that way, then that's on you. But a lot of other wrestling promotions, particularly wrestling promotions on the indie scene, you see stuff like this. And I'm trying to think of the female referee that's in WWE, because she has had her share of doing a fantastic job. I think Jessica Carr, to this referee, Sean Bennett, Jessica Carr, the rest of the industry can really learn a thing or two from these referees and really look to them as, okay, you know what, this is the right way that you go about protecting those talents that's in the ring, looking out for their best interests, even if they want to try to say, oh no, I can keep going here. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. Everything's fine. Everything's good. Really, let me keep going. No. Look out for their safety, well-being. They can always run that match back. There can always be a rematch. Okay? There can always be a rematch down the line. High marks to Sean, high marks to WWE for what they had did there. But yeah, Vinci got rocked big time there. Doesn't look too serious, as far as, oh man, they had to put him on a stretcher. They had to wheel him out, they had to put him in a wheelchair. Like, but still, just the fact that he was rocked just like that was really bad. Miz, R-Truth in a tag match against JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio. Originally, this started off as a Miz TV segment where Miz was under the impression he was going to be interviewing members of the Judgment Day, but it did not go down that way, as R-Truth was the one to come out all by his lonesome. Miz wondering where exactly is the rest of Judgment Day, and he's going, I swear, dog, I was just talking with them. We were all backstage and everything. And Miz couldn't help but wonder, okay, sure, but, seriously, well, what's really going on here? Like, you hearing voices in your head again, man? Like, what's really going on here? And I like how R-Truth did the nod there where he shouted out Lil Jimmy in the house tonight, and the fans were going, yeah, like fans are Lil Jimmy. Loved it. It made me pop big time as we saw JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio come out there. Miz very quick to remind JD and the rest of the WWE fans, yo, JD, you lost that match to R-Truth going back to the Miracle on 34th Street fight. Like, by default, you're supposed to be kicked out of Judgment Day. So what are you doing here? And they just trying to shake that off. I loved how every single time Dominic Mysterio tried to grab a microphone, the crowd just chewed right into him big time. I loved it. I freaking loved it. It was freaking badass, man. Freaking badass. I loved it. This pretty much had led to a scenario where JD, Dominic Mysterio, okay, you know what? We're tired of this crap. You know, why don't we just go on ahead and freaking have a tag match with you guys? And you had R-Truth standing there going, oh, yeah, Judgment Day. Yeah. And he's like, okay, yeah, we're going to do this tag match. Wink, 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 wink. And R-Truth is under the impression, this is all about Judgment Day. We're going to do some Judgment Day business here. And JD and Dom, they're like, no, man, you don't understand. You're not going to be fighting us. You're not going to be fighting with us. You're going to be fighting us. You're actually going to be Miz's tag partner. Right? And Miz is trying to relay this to him and everything. And it's like, R-Truth just does not freaking get it. But if you're keeping tabs at home and you're remembering some of the fondest moments in WWE history and everything, you're going, yo, Miz Truth reuniting. And I really wish that Michael Cole in the game really would have freaking brought that home and all that. But Miz Truth or Awesome Truth, they freaking reunited. I loved it. I freaking loved it. I'm trying to think who was the tag team they had faced. Like one of the last tag teams that they faced where I think Miz had commented on it many times in WWE promos where it's like, oh, you know, they said we were a ratings killer and all of this. I'm trying to remember who it was that Awesome Truth had faced, but the names are escaping me right now, and that's unfortunate because I'm trying to look it up real quick to see if I can jog my memory, but I am 2000. Damn, I found it. 2011. They had faced The Rock and John Cena at Survivor Series. Yeah, for whatever respected reason, for those of you that may not remember that match, that had got a lot of flack. You know, it wasn't well received. And if I remember the legend of the story, Vince McMahon was so pissed, you know, that he pretty much had blamed, you know, not so much Truth, but he blamed Miz. And right, it's just kind of one of those, oh, that freaking sucks. Like, go ahead. But a nice, fun, entertaining tag match. I definitely had enjoyed that for what it was worth. Truth continuing to go in there and defy the odds. I was just talking about R-Truth. Feels like 48 hours ago it was on the post show for AEW World's End and everything. And talking about how the guy can still go and everything. But as far as the wrestling itself goes, there really wasn't anything here. Not much that you could sink your teeth into. This was all about comedic pure gold at its finest, which was being delivered flawlessly by R-Truth. Because this match itself, it was probably about 4, maybe 5 minutes at most. Raw Women's Championship match, Ivy Now taking on Rhea Ripley. Shout out to Rhea Ripley. I personally like the fact that, and I was watching this match with my wife, and she hadn't seen Rhea Ripley in a while. And, you know, the first thing I said when I see Rhea, I said, oh, she's really letting that hair grow out. And, you know, my wife was reading a novel of hers, something she had got from the Christmas holiday. And so she looked up. She goes, "Oh yeah, that hair looks really really nice on her." I said, "Yeah, it does. It looks pretty badass. Look real good. I like the long hair." Then again, I've always been a sucker for women with long hair, like long hair down to their shoulders, maybe a little bit past that. I've always been a long hair kind of person when it comes to my ladies. So, but I like the long hair. It looks more cooler on Rhea Ripley. I enjoyed the hell out of this women's world championship match. If there was any match, I would say, yo, you really need to go out of your way if you got Raw on the DVR or you're going to catch the encore. I would say and encourage you to go out of your way and check out Ivy Now taking out Rhea Ripley. Almost 15 minutes for what it was worth. Yeah, Rhea Ripley with the retain and everything. But this match, I mean, it's interesting because when you think back several weeks ago to when Rhea Ripley was going up against Maxine Dupree, everybody remembers that brief time there where WWE, they were trying so hard to get behind Maxine Dupree. It seemed as though, yo, this is our pet project right now. We really need to go all in here. Let's freaking go. And I just remember saying to myself, yeah, Maxine Dupree, she definitely looks the part. And I mean, as far as looks goes, she definitely has it. There's some charisma about her, no mistake about that. But I don't really know if this is really the direction WWE should be going. And as we've kind of seen now in the week since, they've gotten ice cold a bit on Maxine Dupree and instead has focused more so on Ivy Now, which is great. Ivy Now is, what I like the most about Ivy Now, I've had my eyes on her since NXT and all that. And what I like most about Ivy Now is, yeah, she may come off like this small and cute woman, but, there's a dog. You look into them eyes, there is a dog, okay? There is a dog eat dog type individual that's going on there. She's a freaking a pit bull, all right? And I love how WWE have been bringing that out more and more, flushing it out, trying to give her some layers there in her character and all that over these past several weeks. Right down to the point, I got to commend WWE on essentially building up Ivy Now to the point of making her come off like a legitimate contender for Rhea Ripley's championship and everything. The win, never in question that Rhea was going to get this, but Ivy Now did such a good enough job that in my personal book, I think she has earned the right to be in a position where, in storyline, they could run this back. They could easily run this back, and I would encourage WWE to highly entertain the idea of running this back. Maybe you have a rematch go down at the Royal Rumble. It's really something to think about. But Ivy Now looked fantastic, even though it was in defeat. She still looked very good. She looked like a legitimate contender. The way that this was going down, this was some good stuff. Great effort by both women. More please, especially from Ivy Now. Definitely more please. All right, so from there, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark taking on Tegan Nox and Natalya. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark picking up the win. I mean, look, when it's all said and done, this match was maybe 5, possibly 6 minutes. We had a commercial break in there, which really hurt the vast majority of this match. And honestly, this match wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. I hate saying that because I like Shayna Baszler. I definitely like Zoe Stark, but personally, you ain't gonna really get anywhere if you're having these girls take on a Tegan Nox or a Natalya. They are just pretty much now the anything involving Tegan Knox, I'd say this because Tegan Knox is definitely talented. But anything involving Natalya Neidhart these days, you just go bathroom break. Let me go do any and everything else. It's one of those deals where for every 100 matches that Natalya may have in a year, there's that one match, even though you can't think of the name of it off the top of your head, there's usually that one match where you're going, well, that one was good for what it was worth. That one was good from Natalya. And then that's basically it. Main event match, World Heavyweight Championship, Drew McIntyre taking on the champion Seth Rollins. At one point, we see Senior Money in the Bank himself, Damian Priest, come in there. Thought he had the perfect opportunity to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase. Was getting ready to hand it over to the referee. Drew McIntyre comes from out of nowhere. I believe he hit him with a Claymore kick. Definitely took out Dominic Mysterio. Was able to get back in there, try to focus in on Seth Rollins. This was looking as though it was going to be Drew McIntyre's night. And I tell you what, when freaking Drew McIntyre got Seth Rollins in that roll-up, you're going, oh, this is a new champion. 1, 2. And right when the referee was about to count to 3, we see Seth Rollins' boot on the ropes. And you're just going, man, I love the way that little fine attention to detail was laid out. Whoever the producers were for that match, kudos to them. Because the way this came off, Drew would have had it had he just been mindful of the surroundings, where the ropes were and everything. This should have been a 1, 2, 3. Drew selling that moment, looking on, very, very frustrated. Like, what the hell? I mean, he was sincerely straight up pissed. Whips Seth Rollins to the bottom rope, goes out, looking to put Rollins through the table. Rollins reverses it, manages to hit him with the pedigree. Table did not collapse. Want to make sure we stress that. The table did not collapse. Maybe it wasn't supposed to, but after Rollins hits the pedigree, he quickly tosses McIntyre back into the ring, hits him with the curb stomp, 1, 2, 3, successfully is able to retain as a staggering Dominic Mysterio, Damian Priest, they look on. You're just going, man, somehow this guy does it again. Rollins, I'm talking about. Somehow he does it again. Great match, even with the cash-in stuff. And you kind of just felt that was definitely going to be coming, right? But the way it all was played out, it was good. Love that main event. That main event show, as far as I'm concerned, that main event match, I won't say it saved the show, but it was definitely a nice reward for if you stuck around the whole 3 hours. That's my personal opinion on that one. But you just can't help but wonder at this point, when is that championship cash in? When is it going to go down? And I'll tell you exactly when it's going to go down. It is going to go down when Seth Rollins and CM Punk meet up for their respective match. Make no mistake about it. Punk will become the new World Heavyweight Champion. But Damian Priest will cash that SOB on Punk and will be successful at it. That's how I see all of this playing out right now. And personally, I would love nothing would be more badass than to see CM Punk go toe-to-toe there with the Judgment Day. I mean, I think that would just be such a really good back and forth with them, especially when you're trying to figure out, okay, CM Punk, you're back after all these years, but who the hell, so many people don't like you, right? You say that there's people that have welcomed you back with open arms and all this other stuff, but, who's really going to have your back against Judgment Day? I love that story. I really, really do. I can tell you off the break, Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso, he will definitely be one of those people that will team up with CM Punk. I can definitely see that happening. Whenever Sami Zayn is back on the saddle again, I could see Sami Zayn teaming up with Punk as well. I could even see, under the right circumstances, Cody Rhodes, although not right now, not right now, because we're so close to WrestleMania season and everything. So, but yeah, officially 2024, Raw coming back. Really good moment right there, setting things up. That's what this was really all about, as far as a major talking point, major reason to check out Raw for this week, just to see that Rock segment, crowd just, and I tell you what, man, nothing was more, holy crap, I can legit see the goosebumps. Over the years, I've always heard The Rock say, goosebumps. Every time I come out there, goosebumps. And I've got a 72-inch flat screen 4K UHD TV, so I can see the finest detail without my glasses and without squinting. And when The Rock came out there, he first comes out, and he shows his forearm. I'm watching this with the wife, and I'm going, yeah, I can definitely see it. And she's like, yeah, he's got some nice tattoos. I'm going, no, hon, his goose pimples, his goosebumps. Like, you don't see that? I rewinded it back, and she's like, yeah, damn, you were able to see that off the break? I say, yeah, like off the break. Boy, the power of 4K, I tell you, power of 4K. A slightly above average edition of WWE Raw when it's all said and done. Because honestly, you take away some of the good stuff that I highlighted, and honestly, this would have been just, but, well-rounded episode for the most part. I think a lot of people definitely say the same thing, that as far as this week's goes, slightly above average edition. Hopefully you guys been enjoying yourselves so far. Loads more stuff that we can get into here on the show. So I think where we'll go right now, because we got a couple of wrestling little headline tidbits that we can get into and everything. I did check out the AEW World's End Media Scrum. By the way, shout out to those of you that had checked out the World's End pay-per-view post-show. We had that available all throughout social media. I made sure that episode was put out for on-demand and downloads in audio format. Now, to my audio listeners, shout out to you guys. You may notice that episode number, let me just go back and check real quick here, because what you're listening to right now, what you're watching right now, is episode 1066. But for those of you that might be looking for episode number, what is it? Actually, correction. This is episode number 1067. If you're looking for episode number 1066, we did do the episode, but there's just a web stream version of it available on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter right now. I did work on the audio version of that show, and I saved it, rendered it, everything. And for some respected reason, when it came time for me to retrieve the audio, the file became corrupted. So I just said, okay, bump it. It was pretty late because I actually was working on it at the same time I was mixing down the World's End post show. So it's going to look kind of weird for you guys that are audio lovers in your feeds, because you're like, wait a minute, missing an episode here. Just go over to YouTube and you'll be able to check it out. I think that episode was recorded on the 28th of December that we had put out for you guys. All right. But I appreciate everybody that had checked out the World's End pay-per-view post show. Looks like that was well received by you guys. And thank you all. Thank you all that had represented, checked it out, shared it, all that good stuff. I did see the AEW Scrum as promised. Because I told you guys, it was funny reacting to how Tony Khan was looking in real time during the Scrum, because I'm going, wait, is that an afro that the man is wearing? Tell me that's not an afro. What the hell is this guy wearing? Seriously. And then once I'm off the air and pretty much going to the next day, I'm watching it on YouTube and I'm going, okay, there's his hair. Okay, like, what's this about an afro and shades though? And then I see he ended up wearing Tony Storm's hat and sunglasses. And I mean, my man looked like freaking Humpty Hump, Shock G. I mean, I'm just, the Humpty dance is your chance to do the hump. Do it, baby. Do the Humpty Hump. I mean, seriously, I was waiting for him to go, hey, big girl, are you ticklish? Let me take you home so you can suck on my licorice. I was really waiting for him to just bust out a freaking rhyme there. It's freaking ridiculous. But, some interesting points had came from out of the media scrum. I know, who is it? Raphael Morphy, who has been the longtime agent for Jim Ross. I know he was working for AEW for all these years now. I actually met Raphael back in DC several years ago. This is way before he even signed on with AEW. Same thing for Jim Ross as well. I met Raphael when Jim Ross came out here for his one-man show at the DC Improv. And Raphael was one of the first people that we saw when we entered. Everybody, like all the wrestling fans that were there that night, he was one of the first people that you saw when you entered DC Improv, and he thanked you for coming out to see Jim Ross and saying, hey, hope you guys have a great time and everything. Really cool guy. So, sincerely, a really cool, laid-back guy. You could have pretty much chatted it up with him, a little bit of everything. I know he was definitely there after Jim Ross was done with the show. He wasn't that far away from Jim Ross's table, and he was still continuing to interact with the fans and everything. Seems like a really, really cool dude. But I'm talking about Raphael Morty because he has wrapped up his time in AEW. He is going on to do something apparently non-wrestling related. I know one of the pieces of news that Tony Khan had shared also during that scrum is as far as the gate goes for World's End, they did about close to $10,000 as far as the live gate goes. The live gate. Don't know the pay-per-view figures just yet. Okay, don't know about that just yet. Andrade El Idolo, as of right now, it really went into effect on January 1st, but Andrade no longer with AEW. He is now a free agent. Tony Khan revealed that they tried everything in their power to have Andrade stick around. They tried to get him to commit to a new deal and everything, but Andrade wanting to test the waters elsewhere, whether that means a return to the WWE, because I know there were some reports out there where some were speculating that Andrade could possibly been back tonight, as of tonight on Monday Night Raw, or some are speculating, hey, it can come as early as this week. Maybe he'll be back on SmackDown and everything. I think these are just people that were just honestly taking a guess, but does Andrade have options? Yes. Would it make all the sense in the world for him to be as close to his wife as possible so that traveling isn't really going to be an issue for the couple? Because if there's one thing that is very challenging, and shout out if you all know from experience yourself, it's very challenging to maintain a long-distance relationship, especially when you have a situation where you're only able to spend that quality time with that significant other for maybe 1 or 2 days max. 3's really pushing it, and then you both are back out there on the road again. That can be very taxing. That can be taxing emotionally and mentally. It can be very, very taxing. So, look, I would imagine that the only way things don't work out for Andrade going back to the WWE is if they can't agree on not money per se, but more so the dates. Because maybe Andrade wants a little bit more time off, right? Maybe he wants a little bit more time off. Maybe he wants that time off to basically coincide with Charlotte and everything. Have to wait and see how that plays out. Somebody else has also made their exit from AEW as well. I know QT Marshall, he's done. And we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. He's done. It seems like there's maybe one other name. Not, what is it? Is it Nick Jackson or Matt Jackson's wife? That wrapped up her tenure with AEW. We didn't get a chance to talk about that last week, but I mean, look, when you look at a lot of the merchandise, because she was in charge of the merchandise and all that, when you look at a lot of the merchandise that was there at AEW, and don't take my word for it, actually take the word of the fans that were actually there in attendance. Even some of the wrestlers had complained as well that the merchandise or their lack of, it was really bad. Not just design wise. Remember, the Mrs. Jackson. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. Look, Miss Jackson brought you some really bad designs. I mean, for starters, the bloodied Britt Baker face, and as I jokingly had said on social media, the only thing that was missing is a closed fist. Right, just put a closed fist right there somewhere and then just have Britt Baker's face be in the background. I mean, because that thing just screamed spousal abuse. It really did. It did not scream anything wrestling, nothing of that magnitude. Nothing of that magnitude. Right down to the point there wasn't even those 3 little letters AEW on the front of that freaking shirt. Okay, so that just looked bad on so many freaking levels. If it wasn't somebody experiencing some form of spousal abuse, you're going, damn, did this person get messed up at maybe a mosh pit or something? What the hell? So, the fact that, and the word going around is that one of the main reasons why she's leaving is she doesn't like the fact that Tony Khan and crew really did not have her husband and brother-in-law's back when the infamous brawl had went down. She really feels allegedly that, they basically were put in a negative light, and yeah, they might have renewed their deals. They might be bringing in some more money and everything, but it just kind of came off as though they really were thrown under the bus by Tony Khan. So that pretty much rubbed her the wrong way, and that's essentially why she wants to take her ball and go elsewhere. Look, I can't speak to any of that as far as whether it's true or, I mean, hypothetically speaking, if that's how she feels, then, okay, look, you're going to do what you're going to do, obviously. I know that there's another report that's being put out there is the criticism. I know some people, good-natured, criticized the work that she was doing, but was also trying to provide constructive feedback, but allegedly she really wasn't taking the criticism she was getting that well. I don't know how much truth there is to that. All we can really deal with is the facts and just look at how things were from a merchandising standpoint, and it was really, really bad. Something that I've said here on the show repeatedly over the years, I always talk about quality over quantity. And the quality was just really, really bad with a lot of the AEW merchandise. Does anybody remember? And I was going to buy it because I thought it was so damn funny, yet kind of cool seeing it at the same time. Does anybody remember the Sting in a Globe joint that AEW had available briefly? And I do mean it was available very briefly. The design was so bad. So damn bad. It was being ripped apart on social media. And look, I don't know how many had sold because I know myself, a couple of my friends in the podcasting world, we were going, yo, we need to buy this so we can actually do a live product review ripping this because there's just no way that's how it's going to appear. This has to be a joke, okay? And it was Sting, I think, holding on to a baseball bat, and he had a black leather coat on, and he had AEW text on the front of his chest, black t-shirt on and everything. And when you shake the globe, obviously it snowed. I think he was standing on some snow-covered ground or whatever. And the face paint for Sting, it was really, really, really bad on so many levels. And they had him bald at the top. It was hilarious how they did him dirty, this design. They did him dirty. And I remember when a lot of us had initially saw the design online, because they were saying, hey, you'll be able to pre-order this in blah, blah, blah hours. And we're all looking at this going, dude, this is so damn bad. I guess when it finally did go live, I guess AEW was like, yo, we need to just go ahead and pull this real quick. Now, some people had put in an order, allegedly. Some people put in an order, and they got their money back because they basically was like, yeah, we're just going to cancel it. Right? Like, I don't know anyone that successfully was able to purchase it. So if you're hearing this and you actually were able to purchase it, you physically have that bad boy in your hands, hit me up. Hit me up. We gotta actually get you to review that and go on record and let us know if it actually matched up to what was being advertised. But to my whole point, a lot of the stuff that was being put out there merchandise-wise, really, really bad stuff that was coming from the marketing department for AEW, which she was in charge of. So, I'm like this. It might be a sad loss for Tony Khan and for the Jacksons / Elite and for a few other people, but I also look at this as an opportunity for AEW to grow tremendously in that respective position, especially you're able to come in and bring in somebody that can do 10 times a better job and get guaranteed better results than what they've been having these past 5 years. Something to think about. So we talked about how Kevin Dunn gave his notice to WWE. He's going to be leaving. He's already left the company, as there was a company-wide email that was sent out by Nick Khan, followed up by a talent meeting right before Raw. That pretty much had confirmed, yeah, Kevin Dunn, he is done. One of the original reports, according to PW Insider, shout out to them, noted that Dunn decided to leave due to the changes made backstage after the Endeavor purchase and TKO merger. PW Insider also added some additional details saying that Dunn decided to retire and was not asked to leave, nor was he fired. He informed WWE of his decision over Christmas week, and while there was a push to get him to stay on through the Royal Rumble, get to WrestleMania, he decided, no, I just want to leave immediately. You also had reports, I believe it was also by PW Insider, that had noted, Dunn basically was in a position where he wasn't interested in being directed by new heads, per se. Of course, Kevin Dunn, a loyal Vince McMahon guy, a very, very loyal Vince McMahon guy. And that rubbed some people the wrong way over the years, because Dunn would talk a certain way to talents, to writers, and it wasn't received well. And it was said that with Vince McMahon essentially being out of the picture, all these months per se, Kevin Dunn's position, it seemed like he was more friendly. He was more, so that kind of led you to the impression that he was acting only a particular way because of Vince McMahon and everything. Other information that's out there basically is saying, hey, he only wanted to work for one boss only, and that would be, it's interesting because I can remember myself and so many others over the years that said, look, the more power that Triple H and Stephanie get within the company, you can rest assured that when Vince McMahon is pretty much out the door, and that's it. Triple H and Stephanie, it's going to be all about putting their respected people into place. No doubt Kevin Dunn is going to be someone that's going to be shown the door and everything. I would suspect that there might have been a little bit of friction between Dunn and Triple H early on when Triple H was, basically starting off as a wrestler, but then when Triple H was growing more and more into power, I would like to believe Kevin Dunn, it kind of rubbed him the wrong way, but that ultimately cooler heads prevailed, and I would not be surprised if it was a case where, no, I want to continue to work with Triple H and, and all of that. I'd be shocked to hear if it was a situation where, that position, Triple H goes, that's a position I've always been eyeballing. I've been trying to put my own person in there for the long. I'd be kind of surprised to hear that and everything. No, honestly, the way this kind of comes off to me, I don't think there's, for those that's looking for some type of a story, something salacious, something juicy, I don't think this is a case where, Kevin Dunn is just, I'm Vince McMahon all the way, baby. I don't think it's really that case at all. I think it's more so a situation where, I will put it to you this way, because there's two things that can be said that's true. I do believe Kevin Dunn is just in a position now. And look, maybe there are some things that he's kind of noticed with TKO coming in and everything. Maybe he's not really a fan of how TKO, is handling things. I would imagine some of the things that Ari Emanuel had said about Vince McMahon. Shout out if you remember some of that stuff that we talked about from a couple of weeks ago. I mean, Ari Emanuel the way he threw Vince McMahon under the bus. Look, it was true, everything he was saying, but just the way he threw him under the bus, I would imagine that Kevin Dunn maybe didn't appreciate that, right? And when you're at a position in life where you've made all your respected money, you've got enough saved up that you can enjoy the fruits of your labor now and enjoy spending quality time with the family and all that. I think honestly at this point, the only way Kevin Dunn is going to unretire is if Vince McMahon personally reaches out to him, I need a favor here. I need you to continue to work in the company but I don't see that. I don't see that happening. I just don't see that happening. Kind of almost when we get into previewing there for 2024 predictions, I think you're going to raise an eyebrow at some of the things I have to say in regards to what I'm predicting and everything. But to echo what I had said earlier, I don't see Kevin Dunn popping up. I don't care for how much money. I don't see Kevin Dunn popping up, doing stuff for Impact Wrestling or MLW, NWA, all the promotions. I can see some of you guys going, well, Tony Khan, man, he can just give Kevin Dunn a blank check and, Kevin Dunn, AEW. I don't see that. I don't see that. He is just going to stay retired. I think the only person he will unretire for will be Vince McMahon. And I don't see Vince McMahon coming back into a position of power from the glory days, before TKO. I don't see any of that going down, so you can forget about that. Shout out to WWE's Dragon Lee. He had announced on social media that he's currently dealing with a work visa issue, so as a result of that, he's not going to be able to work the NXT New Year's Evil show, which is very unfortunate because originally he was supposed to be, I'm trying to see if I can remember who his opponents were. Not offhand. I can't remember offhand who the opponents were, but yeah, he was supposed to be involved in that. Now it's not going to happen, which is very unfortunate. Did you guys see the new Elias video package that's running around. I would play it on here, but I don't want to get any copyright issues. If you've got social media, you know what? Even if you don't have social media, you can still go about finding it online, and you won't have to sign in or anything. But he revealed his new independent name. He is going to be, and the video package was badass, I gotta say. I loved it. Anytime you're able to incorporate Danzig, I love Danzig. Anything Danzig, I mess with typically. But anytime you're able to put a really cool video package together and you're jamming out to some Danzig, you're doing something right in my book. And it was like this great rebirth video package that they did for him and everything. But his new Indies ring name is going to be Elijah. Elijah. Hey, that's cool. I mean, it's very close to Elias, right? That's cool. I know some of you guys remember Ezekiel, right? But no, he's going to be running around as Elijah. So still the same look that we remember him, from before. So I can't wait to see what he's going to be able to do in 2024. Should be pretty badass. Shout out to WWE, by the way. They had some record-breaking numbers for their holiday tour. I know Triple H was touting it, and I'm just like, wow, this is freaking awesome. Everything that had culminated there with the holiday show that they did at MSG, where over 16,000 fans had showed up. Remember, that's the joint that was headlined with CM Punk and Dominic Mysterio, but it had went extremely well. I mean, they did a whole bunch of firsts there. So, I mean, that's great. Kudos to WWE. Business looking good. Getting in those good numbers. That's great. See, other than that, I know there's the rumblings there going on with Mercedes Moné. We can talk about that when we get ready to go into wrestling predictions and all that. All right, so let's talk about probably the biggest black eye that came from the AEW World's End Media Scrum. We already highlighted it earlier, but Tony Khan looking like Humpty Dump, right? Just, oh my God, it's just bad, man. So he gets this. Here's the thing that was really like ridiculous for me. I got to be honest, and I've yet to see anybody mention this. And if they did mention it, I don't know nothing about it, right? But like, I've read so many different takes on this and everything, but everybody's missing something that is so damn glaring, it's not even funny, which is this. So you have Toni Storm out there, who is your AEW Women's Champion. And she's putting on, her props, her hat, her shades. She's putting all that on Tony Khan, right? And so when she's done with her segment, which, by the way, it was an entertaining segment. I will admit that. It was an entertaining segment. I loved hearing her kick it off by basically having the people introduce themselves, mention their New Year's resolution and all that. The one guy, though, that sounded like a freaking mark I laughed at, he goes, my New Year's resolution is you and me one-on-one for an interview. And the way Tony Khan looked at that guy, and Toni Storm's like, what the hell? And they kind of asked him to clarify. And, he did, but you're just going, man, that just comes off so damn markish. Like, seriously, dude. But no, she was entertaining. I'll definitely give her that. But as soon as that respected segment was over, you went from one women's champion to another where Julia Hart comes out there. So that, for me, the tone should have automatically changed for Tony Khan. Once Toni Storm exited and Julia Hart was getting herself situated and sitting down next to TK, Tony Khan should have removed the props and, right, let's get to it. Remember, a lot of these joints, sadly, it's a case where most of the questions has already been pre-screened. This is not a case where you're able to just go in there running blind and you can pretty much ask whatever comes off the top of your head. And, if you do go off that script, rest assured you're probably not going to be invited back again, especially if it's a case where you're trying to play a game of got you with Tony Khan, right? It's something in a position where somehow it's a position where you're trying to make him look, kind of bad or whatever. But Julia Hart comes out there, and the same guy that's like, yeah, Tony Storm, you and me, one-on-one. He's going, wow, so we went from one women's champion and to another. How about you two have a match? What do you think about that? What do you think about having a match with each other, huh? And it's like, God, dude, like, seriously, can you get any more markish? Can you come off any more like not a journalist, or more so a freaking mark and everything? And this is the same guy, by the way. I wish I knew the wannabe reporter's name. This is the same guy. Maybe we can get you to put on Tony Storm's hat and shades. And Julia Hart's like, no, actually it was Tony Storm. Tony Storm goes, I'm sorry, not Tony Storm. Tony Khan. I'm getting my Tonys mixed up. You got to forgive me there. Tony Khan's like, yeah, no, Tony Storm gave this to me and wanted me to wear it. I don't think that would, be respectful to Julia Hart. I wish that Julia Hart would have came out there and pretty much been in character the whole time. I wish she would have came out there and said, Tony, or Mr. Khan, what the hell are you wearing? Seriously? I don't know what that was that I just walked past, but I do know this. Your real women's champion is now present. Please, those props, get rid of them. You're disrespecting me. That would have been just, I'd have loved it if she'd have came out there and freaking did that. Seriously. I bring all this up because we get this serious question about Jericho and and the allegations and everything. And I got to be honest with you guys. I must have heard about 3 or 4 people. Fightful. Look, I like the people over at Fightful. I'm Twitter buddies with Rob. Love Rob. Rob is cool. I've been following his weight journey for these past couple of years. You won't find me ever saying anything bad about Fightful when it comes to them and their reporting. I think they do, for the most part, a really good job in reporting news, in reporting wrestling news. I'll give them that. But on this particular night, I'm hearing 3 or 4 Fightful names. So there's 3 to 4 Fightful reporters. I'm going, okay, between you guys, no, there was a female that was in there. I'm going, okay, between you guys, which one of you is going to ask the real tough question here? Which one of you is going to ask about the Chris Jericho stuff? Let's forget about the perks. Let's forget about the AEW nice little care packages that's got the little brownies and whatever the hell else is in it. Let's forget about all of this. And to quote one of my favorite Don Henley songs from the Eagles, I've been trying to get down to the heart of the matter, right? Right? Forgiveness. Even if you don't love me anymore. Right? I'm sure that's Tony Khan's song too. But no, seriously, I'm going, who's going to ask the question in regards to Chris Jericho and these allegations? Because, like, seriously, Fightful? Nope. What was it? Matt Men podcast or whatever? No. Wrestle News Co., who was like the biggest mark in that whole goddamn scrum. I don't care. I will call it as I see it. I don't care who I piss off. I piss off some of these people. Oh, well. Oh, freaking well. I don't care. Right? No, didn't call it. No, it's a freaking guy from the USA Today for their respective sports section. It's the USA Today guy that asks the question about Chris Jericho and the allegations and all of that. Now, let's pull up Tony Khan's quote here. I just had a fun field day seeing this freaking quote, and I just said, Lord have mercy. Can this? And when this question is being asked to Tony Khan, if there was ever a time to take off the shades and the hat, this is that time. Especially as you're sitting next to a female wrestler, Julia Hart. And kudos to Julia Hart for standing there, maintaining her composure, and not that there was anything she needed to be upset about or anything, but, you know, to just get this heavy type of question put on your boss, and you got to sit right there and pretty much hear the answer, right? This is a serious question, and as this is being asked, you know, he's just looking like a dumbass. I could not have been there in person and on AEW's payroll, whether as upper management, or talent. Soon as I'm beginning to process what this reporter is asking Tony Khan, I would have gestured to Tony Khan in the back, and I would have been like, hat, shades, take them off, you know, quietly. I just would have been doing them hand gestures. Take it off, take it off. I would have probably had a sign, even if it came to that, take off the props, so that he could be making eye contact with this questioner, right? With this reporter, giving him that eye contact, having that serious demeanor on his face and everything, okay? Lord have mercy. So, Tony Khan on the company's sexual harassment policy and all that. And again, the question was asked by USA Today's Phil Stern about the rumors that had surfaced Saturday concerning Jericho. Listen to how Tony Khan tackles this, okay? I think it applies to everyone in the company, women and men, and it's something we're very serious about, and we've had a policy in place, and certainly anytime there is anything like that, we will have to make sure we do everything we can to prevent it. AEW has the best safety record. There was a lot of that during this scrum as well. Oh, we're great. Everything's great. Perfect. Great. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Magnificent. Great. Superb. Great. Great. Everything's great. Great. We're the greatest. We're the greatest. We're great. We're awesome. We're great. Anyway, we're very serious about, and we've had a policy in place, and certainly anytime there is anything like that, we would make sure we do everything we can to prevent it. AEW has the best safety record, I believe, of any pro wrestling company in the world. I believe we have the most safe environment. I believe we have the best safety record of any pro wrestling company, and I would hold the record of AEW on safety against any wrestling company in the world. And I think AEW is the safest place on earth. I'm sorry, I had to go Disney there, but no, he says, I think AEW is the safest place for pro wrestling. Says the guy who feared for his safety and that he was lunged at by Mr. CM Punk. Says the guy where Andrade Idolo and who was it? Was it Sammy Guevara that was in some type of a backstage brawl or whatever? I know Sammy G and Eddie Kingston, they definitely had their share of, okay, there's been like that, then you got the brawls, like, right, well, but far as safety goes, oh man, we're the greatest place on earth. We're the greatest. Can't touch us. We're great. Oh yeah, he didn't answer the question. Did you really read in between the lines there? He did not answer the question. And shout out to Phil from USA Today for asking the question, but if that would have been me in person, like I don't give a fuck. I don't care if I'm not invited back. Like, I'm going to ask the tough questions. And Phil did that, but I would have followed up. I would have said, hey, Tony, I appreciate you, saying all of those things. But again, my question was, right, and get him to officially go on record, in regards to that. Now, Tony Khan goes on to say, if any of our wrestlers have a concern, they always have an open line to talk to me, and I believe anybody would sit here and tell you they always can talk to me anytime they are concerned about anything. If there was anything that came to light to me, I would take it to the disciplinary committee, and that's how we've been doing it. Our disciplinary committee has been doing a great job, and everybody knows they have an open line to me or anybody on that committee. Now, I'm just trying to see, because apparently, and shout out to Bryan Last of the Jim Cornette podcast. But yeah, I was actually able to find it. He posted, because he actually has a copy of the AEW employee handbook. This infamous handbook that, according to Chris Jericho, hey, I ain't no NDA. I ain't signed no NDA. I ain't never signed an NDA. Nick Hausman's like, yeah, but you sure do know how to dish out NDAs, don't you? Right? We see what he was pretty much alluding to as he expanded more on his thought on the podcast, on his respective podcasts and everything, even referencing, linking to Chris Jericho to a Harvey Weinstein. Can you just, wow, if that doesn't make your stomach turn, Jericho being compared to a Harvey Weinstein, like what the hell? But according to the sexual harassment part of the AEW employee handbook, sexual harassment may consist of, but is not limited to, uninvited requests for sexual favors or sexual advances, whether accompanied by promises or threats with respect to the engagement relationship, unwelcome physical contact such as touching, pinching, or brushing against another's body, as well as coercing sexual relations, lewd speech, sexually suggestive comments or innuendo, sexually oriented kidding or teasing, or sexual propositions, demeaning or hostile comments based on gender or sexual orientation, including sexually degrading words to describe an individual, foul or obscene gestures, material or objects that are sexually suggestive. There's a lot more to this. I will definitely post this up on our Facebook and YouTube pages at the RCWR Show for you guys to look at. That, but that just gives you a little bit of a preview. I don't want to keep going on and on and on in this, but right. So you got all this stuff that's there, and of course, when all the stuff had went down with Chris Jericho and the whole NDA stuff, again, Kylie Rae, minding her own business, just recently gave birth. She's just kicking back, trying to get rid of the baby bump and everything. She's trying to get back into the ring, right? And all of a sudden, her name is brought up again because you have all these people that's going, well, yo, something went down there, allegedly. I make sure you say allegedly, with Kylie Rae. And, you got the old saying, hey, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And, there was some cryptic post that was put out there that pretty much had, I think it was right around the time when it came to the linking of Jericho and Harvey Weinstein, that comment, Kylie Rae had liked that freaking post, because you were actually able to see that she liked it. Now I'm trying to see if I can retrieve that, because I thought I had took a screenshot of that, but it doesn't look like I'm able to come across it right now. Well, you know what I should have did? I should have actually saved a freaking, wait, actually, I have it. I have it. Yeah, I have it. So a lot of stuff had resurfaced. So one of the things that had resurfaced, shout out to ISO Wrestling. So here's the deal. You don't quit the hottest fed going today, AEW, without reason. I have it from people in the know that Kylie Ray was asked to go to Chris Jericho's room with the understanding that others would be there. When she got there, it was just him. He made a pass at her. No other details are given. And she freaked out. Now, again, we definitely need to underscore multiple times and emphasize big time that what was said here, when she got there, it was just him. He made a pass at her. No other details are given. And she freaked out. Obviously, she made her exit afterwards, I would assume. So, as far as what exactly had happened, if anything happened at all, well, that's between Jericho and Kylie Ray, obviously, right? ISO Wrestling went on to say there's history with his accused behavior. Next thing you know, the original accuser of David Starr, implying there are potential accusations against Chris Jericho. This is a screenshot of something that was posted by someone named Tori. Looks like this was shared via Squared Circle. Sometimes I stop to wonder how many young women out there are wondering if it's safe to post about Chris Jericho yet. This was posted on June 22nd, 2020. Kylie Ray responded to this post that was shared by ISO Wrestling by giving it a heart emoji. Now, just to get you guys caught up in real time, she did this at 5:08 a.m. on December 30th, 2023. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've played the game of social media now for as long as I have been doing the podcasting now, which has been 12 years. And I can honestly tell you, I will come across certain posts from time to time where I won't always comment on a post. Sometimes, if I feel that what is being shared, you know what? Those are my sentiments exactly. I'll actually repost, or I will heart it. And, I know in this day and age, a lot of people are under the impression, hey, when somebody likes something or when they heart something, this means that they echo in those same sentiments. So, for example, oh, this guy got the electric chair because he had burned a church down and it had 3 girls inside of it that couldn't get out in time, so they were killed in the process. Yeah, he was electrocuted today. You might not comment directly on that article, but you might like it, and some people could look at that as two things. Okay, you're sharing some piece of news, and it looks like you might be down for what happened with this person being electrocuted. So the fact that Kylie Ray had liked what was being said right here, right? Though they all say 2 things can be said, that's true. I know we've said that a couple of times here on the show. I know a lot of people are very quick to bring up Kylie Ray posting the thing on Instagram where she talked about, hey, I enjoyed my time here in AEW. Well, you know what? That can be true. That can be true. Matter of fact, I do believe what she said was very sincere from the heart. I would imagine that she, the brief time that she was there in AEW, she had made a decent amount of new acquaintances, made some friends in the process. I'm sure it was probably difficult for her to roll out from AEW. And the fact that we've had that thing out there for as long as it's been out there. Now, I saw some fellow podcasters that brought up the question, okay, this stuff about Chris Jericho, okay, well, if Chris Jericho has kind of been operating like this for years now, why is it that nobody else has been talking about this? Why has it been a situation where more and more people been talking about it? Like, why is this just? First of all, this is stuff. I'll be real with you. I'll be real with you. It's probably no excuse, right? It's probably no excuse. But I would suspect that a lot of people don't want to officially go on record because, number one, the victims themselves, whether they sign some form of an NDA or not, maybe they're just suffering from some form of embarrassment, and it's something that they honestly just, I don't ever want to talk about that particular moment in time again. I'm just trying to focus on moving forward, and I just want to be done with it, and that's going to be it. So, let me just, I don't know what I was thinking at the time. Yeah, I wasn't thinking at all, but, that's just over and done with. So it could be a case where maybe some NDAs were put in place and the individuals can't talk about it, but they shared it with their experience. They shared it with somebody who ultimately was able to get it out there on. But as a result, it's hearsay. So it's a case where if you're going to mention it, you have to say, of course, this is something that is from, a third party, hearsay, allegedly, right? And then the other part of this mix as well, because there's a third part to this as well, the people that want to talk about this, okay, including podcasters and all of that, have to tread lightly, because the last thing that they want to do is be in a position where, man, that portion of that respected show or that article that they're writing up about this situation catches Chris Jericho and his people, and they've got all this money, and then the next thing you know, they're trying to sue for slander, defamation, and all this other crap. And let me tell you something, nobody wants to go through that kind of a lawsuit. Nobody ain't got, nobody ain't got the time, the resources to, I'm going to stick to my guns, and I'm going to, even if I'm sued, like, true story. I remember many years ago. It was right here on the show. And it was like one of my earliest lessons that I had to learn as a podcaster. There were certain, and I think that the person took it out of context. And I think deep down inside, they knew that they were taking it out of context. But I remember certain things that I had said about this individual. I'm not going to name them. I'm not going to even mention, because if I say too much, you guys will be able to figure it out. And then, right. But I remember I had butted heads with this particular individual. What I will say, somebody connected to the wrestling business. That much I will say. Worked directly in the wrestling business. All right. Won't mention a promotion, none of that. Word had got to this individual that I had spoke about them, and that I had spoke about them in a not so friendly light. Okay. And I remember I got an email directly from this person, and they told me what they had heard, and they said, look, if you don't stop, I'm not going to have any choice but to sue you. And I remember I came right back. I responded back and I said, look, I'm not sure exactly what this person had said exactly. But I know that, as far as what I had said, I said XYZ. And if you want to hear it for yourself, here's the video. Here's the timestamp. And if you have any issue with what I had said, Well, hell, adult to adult, I'll gladly, the next time I'm on the air, I'll gladly issue you some form of an apology, and, that can just, that'll be that. We'll be done with it. It's like, but don't misconstrue what I'm saying here, right? And I told him, I said, by the way, you could go ahead and sue me. It's like, but you ain't gonna be collecting no money because I ain't got no money. So it's like, good luck with that, right? You try it, I'll file for bankruptcy immediately. Like, you can try, but you ain't gonna get nothing. And they responded back to me after they had heard what I had said, and and they told me straight up. They said, "Okay, look, all right, I understand, what you had said, yeah, but this particular part, I really wasn't a fan of that." And they admitted, hey, obviously this person that had reached out to me, they're a shit stir, and they were just trying to stir the pot a little bit. They're like, no, we're cool, it's all good, and that was that. Right? So there's a but to follow up on this whole Jericho stuff, it's one of those type of things where, like I know one of the people that's involved in the podcasting world is friends with a WWE wrestler that's seen on television every single week. I would imagine that they and this wrestler have some really fun, insightful, colorful conversations. Just the amount of intel that this person knows, possibly knows, as far as inner workings of WWE, right? Things of that nature. That's something that they're going to keep extremely close to the vest, because that's nobody's business. And the fact that they have been entrusted with certain information, that speaks volumes. That says a lot. Okay? For years, myself and others have heard, you think this thing with Kylie Ray is bad. There's a whole lot of other stuff that is really, there are things I wish I could talk about. There's things I wish I could talk about, that I've been able to obtain, if not firsthand, secondhand information in regards to Jericho. But it's not my story to tell. Sadly, it's not my story to tell. Because the first thing that's going to happen, if I do put those stories out there, the first thing that's going to happen, somebody that's listening to the show, watching the show, that's a Jericho fan. Oh, man, Jericho, say it ain't true. Say it ain't true, Jericho. Say it ain't true. And then the next thing you know, I'm going to get a cease and desist letter from Chris Jericho and his people. And that's the way the game is played. That is the way the game is played, unfortunately. I hate it as much as you all do. But that's how it's played, right? But that is the reason why, understand something, make no mistake about it. If you're just now hearing about some of this stuff with Jericho, like outside of the Kylie Ray stuff, if you're just now hearing about some of this stuff and you're like, why is this a case where now it's surfacing? This doesn't make sense. Why didn't it surface during the previous years? Hello, R. Kelly? R. Kelly, anybody? Especially in the black community, and it embarrasses me, and I'm still ashamed to this day to say this, but so many of us in the black community heard about the stuff that was going on with R. Kelly. We heard about the stuff. Some of us even seen the damn tapes. And we still was going, man, R. Kelly, man, that dude makes some damn good music, man. Seriously, that man. Oh yeah, new R. Kelly song out. Oh yeah, party people, right? We knew then. And it was either a combination of some of us either looked the other way, Or some of us said, well, damn, that is just so wrong. What's going on? But what can we do? There's really nothing we can do. The victims are the ones that need to step up to the plate, and they need to be telling these stories. This is their fight. It's not ours. We can't do anything. We can't fight their fight, unfortunately. And then you just think about financially how instrumental, how much of a Mongol empire this dude was back in the day. Okay? The current climate that we have going on right now, thanks in part to the Me Too movement and everything that went down with Epstein, everything that went down with Weinstein, now it's a case where more and more people are, God damn it, I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm not going to continue to remain silent and in the dark. I'm a victim. I have a story to tell. The hell with the limitation of stature. I'm going to tell that story now. And, I believe, Nick Hausman, as far as him saying, look, if the stuff ever came out, basically that's his way of saying the victims of Chris Jericho, if they ever had the gusto, the cojones, to come forward and tell their stories, wrestling community, sports community would be on fire. The entertainment community, music industry, it would be on freaking fire. This isn't a situation where, and by the way, the stuff that went down there with the Observer guys, very quick to, basically cut down, belittle, not just the fact that the guy from USA Today was asking the question that he was asking, and he almost sounded apologetic to Tony Khan, letting him know, hey, look, this is something that we have to follow up on because, this is, layman's terms, a bad black guy that's being put out there on social media about one of your top talents, and, hey, want to give you a chance to respond to this. For the Wrestling Observer guy to come in there, let me see if I got a screenshot of that one. I may not have it, but what was his name? Clayton? For that guy to come in there, yeah, shout out to Sega Genesis via X. So the guy from USA Today, is the one who had the guts to actually ask the question. Not Fightful, not Wrestling Observer, not Wrestling Purist, USA Today, probably one of the few legitimate media outlets present. He went on to say one thing that is glaringly obvious from these media scrums is that there's an exponential difference in quality from the wrestling dirt sheet employees and the more reputable media outlets. Both the questioning and delivery are more mature and bold. I'm trying to see if I can find the thing about the Wrestling Observer guy. But yeah, I remember the Wrestling Observer guy basically had tried to, in the way he phrased the question / comment, it was coming off, oh, okay, this is good. Okay, all right, so far so good. But then proceeded to give Tony Khan and AEW an out while at the same time dismissing what Nick Hausman, House of Wrestling, had, put out there on social media, was trying to reiterate on his podcast and basically say, oh, this is just some biased, wannabe guy. I'm paraphrasing, but call it for what it was. This is some biased individual that has their own respected agenda that's just spreading propaganda. And you're like, really, dude? As if Wrestling Observer has not done that many times before in the past over the freaking years. Really? You're really going to go there? Oh, man, they chewed that guy. I don't know if his name was Clay or Clayton. They chewed that guy a new freaking asshole. It's ridiculous. It was freaking ridiculous. Didn't like it whatsoever, man. Didn't like it whatsoever. Tony Khan in this scrum going on to say, if any of our wrestlers ever have a concern, right, open line committee. All right, on the rumors surrounding Chris Jericho. Now we're getting more specific because it was, okay, in regards to Jericho. I can't speak to internet and unsourced rumors. I spoke earlier to Kevin and mentioned the policy we have in place. Kevin was somebody, so if I remember this right, Kevin, and I wish I could remember what was the news media outlet that he was with, because Kevin was the one that initially got the ball going, except the way he was phrasing the question. He didn't mention Chris Jericho. He didn't mention Kylie Ray. He danced around it, but you knew what he was talking about. Whereas the USA Today sports guy, Phil, he just basically said, no, he mentioned the name, and, he basically went there. Now, in regards to Chris Jericho, Tony Khan saying, I can't speak to internet and unsourced rumors. I spoke earlier to Kevin and mentioned the policy we have in place and the disciplinary process. We've always followed that, and I believe is the safest wrestling company in the world. And we have the best track record for safety. Really? Really? Okay, dude. And I would hold it up to anybody, and any time anybody has any kind of a complaint, they have an open door to say to me or anyone in the office, and we would look into it anytime. Now, question was asked about if Jericho has been investigated. Jericho saying, I cannot speak to that. We have a disciplinary policy. We have a disciplinary committee that things are referred to. Everybody at AEW, anybody who has ever wrestled in AEW, has an open line to talk to me or this group, and always has. That's how we've always acted, and that's why I believe AEW has the safest environment and is the safest place. So you guys get the gist. Okay? Just running around the mill, just over and over and over again, just basically repeating the same freaking thing. And, you're really left wondering, really not if you guys are looking out for the women, and men for that matter, because men can be sexually harassed as well. You're not coming out of this going, man, I can't help but feel more comfortable for those that work for this company as far as sexual harassment goes. Yeah, man, everything is on point. Instead, you're really wondering to yourself, man, is AEW really the safest place on earth to work for? I mean, that's literally a question, that you're asking yourself here. Meanwhile, the guy 4 months ago was fearing for his freaking life. He was lunged at, but AEW, right? And there's been other brawls too. There's been other backstage fights. But yet AEW is the safest place in the world. Look, even if you are a hardcore AEW fan, you got to be hearing this and going, Lee, I got nothing for you, dog. This just definitely sounds pretty, what the hell. I wish Tony Khan did not take part in this media scrum, because he came out looking very bad once again. The scrum should have honestly been canceled. Folks would have understood it. Hey, man, you could have just been like, no, play it off. Say, yeah, we wanted to make sure the wrestlers were able to get home as quickly as possible, enjoy that quality time with their loved ones before we all reunite to do the first Dynamite of the new calendar year. Boom. Perfect. I mean, obviously they did something right. They made sure Jericho wasn't there for that scrum. That's one damn thing they did right. This was just a joke. Seriously, this was just a freaking joke. And, this is where being a leader really comes into play. And I'm having a freaking meeting before the next Dynamite. I'm getting all the talent in place. And I'm basically saying to them straight up, yo, we can't hold your hands as y'all are adults when it comes to social media. We can't monitor every single thing that you're putting out there 24/7. So, going to break it down to you like this. Don't say or do anything when it comes to your posts on social media that not just embarrasses you, but gives this company a black eye. because that's going to make even more trouble for us, and that's more fires that we got to try to put out. And we should be all about promoting our events, our pay-per-views, and shouldn't be out here trying to freaking play deflect gate. Be part of the solution, not the problem. And of course, you're definitely having an entirely different conversation with Chris Jericho. I mean, quite honestly, that conversation is, look, take 2 months off. Go spend the time with the family. I need this stuff to die down with the quickness. Whether you want to do some type of beat-up angle or whatever, have Sammy and Jericho both go out at the same time and let them come back in 2 months, go for it. But, because let me tell you something, from here on out, every single time Jericho comes out, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough for the next little bit. I promise you that. It's definitely going to be rough for the next little bit. But I did not like the way Tony Khan came off during this scrum. Seeing a comment on X, amazing how much more civil people were in their conduct of a debate. Today, they would be all shouting at each other. Now, Lester Maddox was closer to today's folks. Responding to a video I had posted of when the late Jim Brown, y'all remember when Jim Brown had passed away, there was an infamous appearance he had on the Dick Cavett show, and Lester Maddox was a guest on there, and they basically were talking about race relations and everything. And if you want your blood to boil, look that up. If you want something to check out, check that out. You'll definitely come around later and you'll understand what who was that? Mark that made that comment just now. You'll understand what he's talking about there. It's amazing. I posted that almost a year ago, and it's amazing how people are just finding different things. That's right. I mean, that's got to be a very specific, you got to go out of your way to look for that. Hey, other than that, let's get into some wrestling predictions, and we'll close out the show this way, okay? Let's get into some 2024 wrestling predictions. We won't just look at the talent. We'll also make some predictions as far as, okay, so WWE RAW, where's its new home going to be, right? We'll tackle all of those lovely things, and then we'll definitely call it for tonight. By the way, what do you guys think about the news that's going on in the world of entertainment, as Coleman Domingo is one of supposedly the candidates that could be replacing Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror going forward in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with Coleman Domingo, he gained recognition for his portrayal as civil rights activist Bayard Rustin in the Netflix film Rustin, and he received a Golden Globe Award and a Critics' Choice Movie Award nomination for that portrayal. He just turned 54 in November, so I know, for a lot of you guys, when it comes to your movies, you're going, man, why can't we cast somebody just a little bit younger that we know is definitely going to be around for the next 10, 15 years, don't have to worry about their health and all of that. 54 is a little bit late. I would have to admit, it's a little bit late. But I think, as long as he can remain healthy and everything, look, if it's a case where they need a 5-year commitment, 6-year commitment, I think he can do that. I've seen enough of his work. I think that'd be a damn good replacement for Jonathan Majors. If you all aren't sure who I'm talking about, again, his name is Coleman Domingo. Feel free to look him up. But I honestly, if he gets it, I'm very happy. I think that's a damn good pick, but I think they should try to go with somebody a little bit younger. If you were to ask me, okay, Lee, well, who else should they maybe try to go for, for that respected role? Uh, I like Malcolm. I like Malcolm Mays, Lulu from Power Raising Canaan. I really like him. I think he's a really good actor. I think if you give him enough time to prepare for the role and everything, I think he would do pretty damn good. I think he would do pretty damn good in the role of Kang the Conqueror. He's 33 years of age. He's going to be 34 in February. So you got somebody there that you can mold and have grow before your eyes over time and everything. Something to consider. Something to consider. But yeah, 2024 wrestling predictions. Let's go. Let's first start with WWE. All right, let's start with WWE. So as we all know, WWE, they have this rights deal that's going on. They met with Warner Brothers Discovery. Looks as though something could be in the works there. Okay, something could possibly be in the works there. Where's WWE Raw going to land in 2024, right? Is it 2020? Yeah, I think it's 2024. Where are they going to land? I think WWE Raw. Hang on here. Give me a second here. See. So WWE, they're hoping to receive $400 million per year for the rights to air Raw, but analysts believe the number will be closer to $387 million. And the deal announced in September, WWE will receive $287 million per year for the USA Network to air SmackDown beginning in October of 2024. Right, and the way it's looking right now, Raw's not going to be staying on the USA Network as it's being shopped around. Warner Brothers Discovery, I'm very, very high on them, but I know Amazon has been trying very hard to get into live sports. They've been trying to get into live sporting events, live programming, live TV programming. Man, I just feel that WWE Raw, I feel like it could be going to Prime Video. I feel like it could be going to Prime Video. A lot of people are sleeping on that, and I've been making an argument for why. And remember, a couple of weeks ago, we went over some very interesting stats as far as how many people buy things online, how many consumers have a Prime account, and all of that. I truly believe I'm on to something with Amazon. You can't really sleep on Netflix either. They'd be like a distant third, though. That's the thing. They would be a distant third. The more and more I think about that WWE potential deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, the more and more I can't help but go, yeah, but AEW already has something that is in place, and there's really no way, no how I can see both of these promotions existing in the Turner family. I'm just having a hard time picturing that. Even if, and look, I don't believe it'll happen. But remember, we were talking about how the president of Turner said, look, if push comes to shove and, because our NBA rights fees, it's getting ready to come up and everything. And I'm not really interested in paying an arm and a leg to try to retain what we've been getting all these years. If I got to cough it up, oh well, it is what it is. And I'm having a hard time believing that because meanwhile, you got Ernie Johnson, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith. They all just inked new Turner Broadcasting deals that will see them continue to work with Turner for like the next 7 years. Like they all are going to be going out at the same time. This is pretty much the big swan song. This is their final dance, the last dance, if you will. I'm having a hard time seeing. So what's going to happen with them and these contracts that's been put in place? Is it going to be a case where NBA TV, ESPN / Disney pick up these contracts? They get grandfathered over into. Is that maybe something that's going to go down? Is that maybe ultimately why we saw the ESPN TNT mashup that we had got a couple of weeks ago? Right? There's a lot of things that just kind of, what's going on here. But I'm having a hard time picturing WWE and AEW coexisting on or in the same network, the same family network. Even if it's a case where, well, look, these guys are going to just stay over here on this network. They won't change channels. They'll always just be over here, and AEW will be over here. I'm having a hard time picturing that. So, as far as 2024 goes, Raw's new home, I'm looking at networks that, these guys would benefit tremendously if they were able to work out some type of a deal with. I could maybe see Charge. There's a network called Charge. It's available in a decent amount of households. I could entertain seeing that go down. Maybe the Ion channel even. I could even see the Ion channel maybe being one of the finalists. But I'm gonna jump out there and I'm gonna say Amazon. I'm gonna say WWE Raw work out this deal with Amazon. And y'all forget a good while back, I can't remember if it was at a boxing joint or what, but there was some public event where Triple H, Vince McMahon, and I think Stephanie too, but they were sitting right beside Jeff Bezos. And word was that they were very, very friendly with one another, which kind of has me going, how friendly did that get exactly, right? I would actually be shocked if Amazon wasn't in the finalist discussions. I'd be very, very surprised at that. But that's where I'm going with that. Now, let's talk about AEW. AEW and, what's going to happen with them by the end of 2024. AEW needs to be on its best behavior right now. They can't keep taking these black guys. They are involved in so much more controversy than, and you can have Tony Khan saying good. AEW is good. You can have him do that all damn day. But what's put out there in social media, what's out there being reported by sports and entertainment sites, you can't scrub that off. You can't go, everything's still good, right? So they've got to be on their best behavior right now if they are even going to try to successfully continue to maintain this relationship with Warner Brothers Discovery. But I mean, these black guys that they just were taking left and right and over the years, but particularly in 2023, the hemorrhaging has to stop already. And the way you put a curb stomp to that is what I've been saying off and on these past couple of weeks. You've got to deliver in better programming for AEW television. And it all starts with better storylines, better character development, long-term storytelling, long-term good character development. We already talked about how in 2024, AEW has to do a better job in putting a curb stomp on the tournaments. They got to stop doing tournaments every single, which brings me to this prediction. As far as tournaments go, I feel in my heart of hearts that at maximum for 2024, AEW will do 6 tournaments total, which will be a better improvement from the previous year. If you remember, I said, look, they should really only do 3 tournaments. They should do the Owen Hart Men and Women's Tournament, the Continental Classic, And the third one would be the joint for the Dynamite ring. And then that's it, right? But I'm giving them a maximum cap of 6. They should strive for 3 in 2024, but their maximum should be 6, which is a better, because you also got to think about how, oh man, we got a vacancy because this person isn't healthy right now, so we got to vacate this title. There were so many. It feels like there were so many title vacates in 2023. We definitely need to put a curb stop to that as well, right? So I'm definitely, as far as tournaments go, strive for 3, but your max cap out is 6. So we'll see what happens with that in 2024. Also, Tony Khan has teased the idea of bringing out a new AEW championship. So we already know that there's going to be a new design for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship to basically usher in this new era that is the Samoa Joe era. But Tony Khan was also quoted in an interview rather, that he is looking into introducing further down the line another AEW championship. I know, another AEW title, which brings me to this point. Because Tony Khan wants to so hard try to do what New Japan and other promotions are doing and everything. I can see in 2024 Tony Khan introducing for the AEW umbrella. So I'm including ROH, all that stuff. When it's all said and done, I can see Tony Khan introducing not 1 new title, not 2 new titles. I see him introducing 3 titles, 3 new titles in 2023 that are going to be regular titles. Not going to be no quarterly, these are going to be regular titles. So remember that. I'm going for 3. Heaven forbid it's more than that, but I'm going for 3 new titles that's going to be introduced in 2024. Speaking of AEW, let's talk about talents that could possibly be leaving AEW and that could possibly be coming into AEW in 2024. As far as talents that I can see coming in to AEW in 2024, I legit believe that Mercedes Moné will be coming to AEW. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that talks with WWE did fall apart. I think they were very close. They just could not agree on the money. I do believe those reports that are being put out there. And just looking at some of the interviews that Mercedes Moné has put out there, looking at the way that she has talked to fans in public, just her whole demeanor, which, really everything just from a professional standpoint, not good. I could just see WWE at this point being in a position where they're going, you know what, too much of a headache, not worth it. We've got all these other great girls. 6 of these girls would be the equivalent to Sasha Banks, and for less money and way talented. Don't have to worry about the drama. I truly believe, because look, really stop and think about it. Really stop and think about it for a second. We got Ivy Now, who I just sang a lot of great praise to. If my girl can string it all together, Raquel Gonzalez. Sonya Deville was finally starting to find her groove, and boom, then she had got hit with the injury bug there. Very unfortunate. Tiffany Stratton. My God, Tiffany Stratton, she is just on a whole new other level. She is going to be freaking fire when she lands on Raw and or SmackDown. Lola Vice is another one. My God, I'm really loving the work of Lola Vice. Nikita Lyons, aka Faith the Lioness, if she can remain healthy, she is someone that can definitely be a major impact player for WWE. And I need to show love to my girls in Elektra Lopez and Lash Legend. And let's not forget about not Nia Jax, but Jade Cargill. Whenever Jade Cargill is, right, whenever she finally is able to string it all together, and, right, so, and those are just some names just off the top of my head. I'm sure that there's even more names that you all can think of. But to my whole point, yeah, as far as trying to get Sasha Banks back in WWE, yeah, we're good. So, yes, I do believe that Tony Khan, Ferrari, Jaguar, switching forward names, yelling with the top down, money ain't a thing. I do believe he is going to acquire the services of Mercedes Moné. Bank on that. Mercedes Moné will be in AEW in 2024. As far as when exactly Mercedes Moné will debut, I will say Mercedes Moné will make her debut in AEW by Revolution, the AEW Revolution pay-per-view, right? So Sting, he's going to be going. Mercedes Moné is going to be coming. And remember, AEW Revolution, that is going to be going down on, I'm looking at the date right now for you all, March 3rd of 2024 in Greensboro, North Carolina. So that's where I see Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks, making her debut. I am also seeing Ryan Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler. I'm seeing him debut for AEW. You know, and look, my best advice to Tony Khan right now, you want to get some really good veterans for your roster. You want to get some talents that will really do a phenomenal job in working with your younger talent and really helping get them to that next level and everything. Guys like Dolph Ziggler, Shelton Benjamin, you definitely need to tap into them. Now, of the two names that I just mentioned, which one do I see as far as 2024 goes, debuting in AEW? I'm definitely seeing Dolph Ziggler in AEW. Shelton Benjamin, I'm not that sure. And the reason why I'm not that sure is because I feel as though the way Shelton Benjamin would be utilized, it would be sparingly. And that would be such a great disservice to Shelton that, you know, instead I can see it being a case where he doesn't end up in AEW, but he ends up elsewhere, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But first, let's get through the rest for AEW. I'm looking at the roster here. By the way, Swerve Strickland, 2024. Swerve Strickland will become your next AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Now, as far as when officially it will go down, first of all, I think that as far as, you know, it's interesting because right before MJF, and we're all assuming he's going on this hiatus, it's interesting that we saw at one point Swerve Strickland and Samoa Joe have a face-to-face on television. And you kind of looked at that and said, that's pretty intriguing. And then, right before World's End, we saw Swerve and MJF have an exchange of words backstage, and you're going, man, that's even more interesting. So what I see happening, I'm going to put a 2-for-1 in here for 2024. Swerve Strickland will become an AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and he will get that championship off of MJF. I do feel that Samoa Joe is going to hold on to the AEW World Title long enough until MJF comes back from his injuries, all that good stuff, sticks it to the Devil and the Devil's Rejects. That's what I'm going to call that stable, the Devil's Rejects. And sticks it to them, but gets the title back. And then you set everything up. Honestly, there's two ways this can go down. I can see Swerve winning the title at All In Wembley. Man, that would be really badass too. That would be wow. That would be really, really damn. That would be. I like that. I like that idea. I like that. I'm sticking with that. So I just gave you a 3-for-1 in predictions there. So, but to recap, Swerve becomes your AEW World Heavyweight Champion. He'll win it off of MJF, who'll get the title back from Samoa Joe. Swerve will get crowned AEW World Heavyweight Champion at All In. So we'll see what happens with that. I am thinking about that TNT championship, and I am honestly feeling that maybe Daniel Garcia, and if not Daniel Garcia, then maybe Anthony Bowens or Max Caster. One of those three men will become your new TNT champion. They will get it off of Christian Cage. That's what I'm seeing. That's going to go down. I think Powerhouse Hobbs is going to have the best singles breakout year yet. Right down to the point, I'm going to predict that he's going to have a nice reign as the TNT champion. I'm going to say he's going to have a nice, semi-long reign as the TNT champion. That's what I'm going to go for there. Bryan Danielson. Let me talk about Bryan Danielson for a second. I know as far as wrestling retirement rumors and all that other stuff goes, right? I get that. What I see happening with Bryan Danielson, I honestly feel that Bryan Danielson, I'm looking at the pay-per-view where he made his debut for AEW. And if you can bear with me just a quick second here, I'll be able to actually find that bad boy. Hang on here. Because I think by the end of 2024, so maybe third or fourth quarter of 2024, we're going to begin the final chapter for Bryan Danielson, as Bryan Danielson will wrap up in 2025. That's what I see happening with his in-ring career. But I can still continue to see Bryan Danielson remaining in AEW in a backstage role when it's all said and done. But I'm looking, man, his Wikipedia is so damn long here. Hang on here. I'm just now on first retirement. I wish they had a section where I can just go all elite wrestling, but I'm finally there. Let me see here. So he did, hang on here. All Out made a surprise debut for All Elite Wrestling at the All Out pay-per-view confronting the Elite. So you could have Bryan Danielson retire at All Out. You could do that. Kind of like that idea, actually. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. Yeah, I'm going to say third quarter, fourth quarter of 2024, look for some type of an announcement to be made. Tony Khan is, trust me, just how he's doing it with Sting, he's going to make a big deal out of Bryan Danielson. Yo, I'm definitely ready to retire. It's that time. I want to spend more time with my kid, with my family. So, yeah, I'm done here. like when I say third quarter, fourth quarter, I'm saying somewhere between October to December. Look for the official announcement to be made, and then from there, I can see it being a case where, all right, all out 2025, Bryan Danielson, he'll be done wrestling. So you heard it here first. You heard it here first. Speaking of which, as far as other signings go, I know Tony Khan had said during the media scrum he is looking to test the waters of free agency. He's going to hit it really, really hard in 2024. Okay. I don't like this next thing I'm about to say, but Bill Goldberg, I see him acquiring the services of Bill Goldberg. I can see it being a 2-year deal per se. It's definitely going to be a deal very similar to what Bill Goldberg was doing in WWE. But I can also see it being a case where just a little bit more money is going to be put out there for Goldberg to do some stuff on television. To the point, I can see Bill Goldberg having maybe 2 matches a month on TV. Like, that's the minimum. 2 matches a month. I can see him doing 2 matches a month, but just as far as talking segments goes and all that, I can see a lot of stuff being taped, so they can stretch it out a little bit more with him. But he'll do a little bit more for AEW just from a post-production standpoint, right? They'll pre-tape some stuff for him and everything. But yeah, Bill Goldberg in AEW, I think that's definitely a no-brainer. And we know how fond Tony Khan is of Bill Goldberg, how much he thinks the world of him and everything. That's definitely going to be going down. Mark my words on that. Deonna Purrazzo, allegedly, free agent. I know officially she's said that she's going to be a free agent. Allegedly is who I'm thinking of for Camille. Because a lot of people were reporting that Camille is going to be a free agent, and she pretty much kind of shot that down, saying she knows exactly what's going to be happening with her, and she ain't saying anything about no free agency, right? She's saying that people that are reporting this, they've got it wrong. Well, time will tell, but we know Deonna Purrazzo is definitely a free agent. I've never heard anything negative about Deonna Purrazzo, so that would be a very good grab for AEW. I truly believe that Tony Khan will sign Deonna Purrazzo. I also feel that he's going to sign Jordynne Grace. Now, you would think that considering how bad things was for her husband, Jonathan Gresham, that, but I can legit see Jordynne Grace giving AEW a shot. I can definitely see that happening. So, because I believe she's a free agent, unless something changed. I believe last I heard she was a free agent, so I can see that going down. As far as exits go from AEW, like this calendar year, as far as, oh my God, this person asks for their release. I got to actually look at the, trying to look for the roster here, and I just lost my place. Here because I got to see the AEW roster. Hang on here. Oh, I lost it, but I can easily get it right back. Here we go. Yes, I've got it loading up now. All right, let's look at the roster here. There's some interesting names on here that I'm looking at where I'm going. Yeah, this person's done. This person's done. This person's done. This person's done. As far as goings from AEW, I am seeing Taz and his son Hook leaving AEW this calendar year. I am seeing Badass Billy Gunn, the Gun Kids. I am seeing them rolling out. I am seeing them roll out from AEW. Big Bill, William Morrissey, I see him being done by the end of the year. I can see him actually going back to WWE, believe it or not. I can see him going back to the WWE. Buddy Matthews, I see him being done. Butcher, I think Butcher's going to stick around. You know what? Yeah, let's do it this way. Let's just, I'm looking at the names here. Looking at is this all the men's? This is all the men's for AEW. AR Fox. AR Fox going. Aaron Solo going. Action Andrade staying. Adam Cole staying. Adam Copeland staying. Alex Reynolds staying. Angelo Parker staying. Angelico staying. Anthony Bowens. Ooh. Anthony Bowens staying. Anthony Ogogo going. Ari Daivari, remember he's a coach. He's staying. Austin Gunn. Austin Gunn going. Bandito. Well, remember, he's inactive right now because of a wrist injury. Bandito staying. Big Bill going. Big Bill definitely going. Badass Billy Gunn going. Bishop Khan. I love Bishop Khan. He's got a great look and everything. I see him going. Yeah, I definitely see him going. I know that's probably going to piss some people off, but yeah, he's going. All right, what else we got here? Where are we at now? The Blade staying. Blake Christian going. Boulder staying. Brandon Cutler staying. Brian Cage. He just re-signed. No, he's not going anywhere. Brody King. Ooh. Brody King. How old is Brody King anyway? 36 years old. Brody King. I'm gonna say Brody King stays. Bronson stays. Bryan Danielson, he'll stay, but remember what I talked about earlier. Buddy Matthews going. Butcher staying. Cash Wheeler staying. Chris Jericho, he ain't going nowhere. Christian Cage for 2024. Christian Cage staying. Christopher Daniels, he's not going anywhere. Chuck Taylor, remember he's out right now, foot injury. He's staying. Claudio Casanogli. Going. Cole Carter, going. Cole Cabana, I'm going to say going. Danhausen, I'm going to say going. Daniel Garcia, staying. Dante Martin, staying. Darby Allin, staying. Darius Martin, staying. Dax Harwood, definitely staying. Dralistico, staying. Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes. Staying. Dutch. Staying. Eddie Kingston. Staying. EJ Naduka. Staying. Ethan Page. Leaving. Evil Uno. Evil Uno's never had it so good. Staying. Griff Garrison. Going. Hangman Adam Page. Staying. Hook. Going. Isaiah Cassidy. Isaiah Cassidy. I'm going to say going. Jack Perry. This may surprise some of you guys. I'm going to say going. I believe with all the stuff, everything considered, I think he's just having this in the back of his mind. I see this guy rolling out. Jake Hager. Going. Jay Lethal. Going. Jay White. Oof. 2024. Jay White. Going. Jeff Hardy. Actually, you know what? Let's tackle Matt and Jeff Hardy. I got both of them going. Jeff Jarrett. Staying. John Silver. Staying. Johnny TV. Going. John Moxley. Come on, forget about it. He's staying. Josh Woods. Staying. Juice Robinson. Remember, he's inactive right now. Back surgery. He'll be staying. Shibata. Not going anywhere. Keith Lee. Going. Kenny Omega. Not going anywhere. Kill Switch. Not going anywhere. Kip Sabian. Not going anywhere. Commander. Not going anywhere. Takesha. Not going anywhere. Kota Ibushi. Not going anywhere. Cal Fletcher. Safe. Kyle O'Reilly. Staying. Not going anywhere. Lance Archer. Staying. Lee Johnson. Staying. Lee Morty. Going. Luther. Staying. Malachi Black. Staying. Mark Briscoe. Staying. Mark Davis. Remember, broken wrist right now. Staying. Mark Quinn. Going. Bucks. Yeah, they're not going nowhere. Matt Menard. Not going anywhere. Matt Sydal. Going. Caster. Going. Michael Nakazawa. Going. Mike Bennett. Safe. Mike Santana. Going. Miro. Going. MJF. Staying. Nick Camarado. Going. Nick Jackson. Yeah, safe. Yeah, Buck's safe. Nick Wayne. Staying. Cassidy. Not going nowhere. Ortiz. Going. Pac. Going. Parker Bordeaux. Going. Paul White. Staying. Penta. Penta. Going. Peter Avalon. Thought he left already. Let's say going. Preston Vance. Going. Ray Phoenix. Staying. Ricky Starks. Staying. Roderick Strong. Staying. Roosh. Staying. Sammy Guevara. Staying. Samoa Joe. Staying. Satnam Singh. Going. Scorpio Sky. Going. Serpentenko. Staying. Sean Dean. Staying. Sting, we already know. Stu Grayson. Going. Swerve Strickland. Staying. Toa Leona. Staying. Tony Nese. Going. Trent Beretta. Staying. Vincent. Staying. Wardlow. Staying. Real Yuta. Staying. Will Ospreay. Staying. Women's division. Abaddon. Staying. Anna Jay, staying. Athena, going. Billy Starks, staying. Diamante, going. Britt Baker, going. Emi Sakura, staying. Harley Cameron, staying. Sheeta, staying. Jamie Hayter, staying. Julia Hart, staying. Kiera Hogan, going. Chris Statlander, staying. Layla Gray, going. Layla Hirsch, going. Madison Rain, not going nowhere. Mariah May, staying. Marina Shafir, staying. Megan Bain, staying. Mercedes Martinez, going. Nyla Rose, going. Paige Van Zant, staying. Penelope Ford, going. Rebel, going. Red Velvet, going. Rio, staying. Ruby Soho, staying. Saraya, staying. Serena Deeb, staying. Sky Blue, going. Ty Mello, staying. Taya Valkyrie, going. Thunder Rosa, How old is Thunder Rosa now? 37. I'm going to say Thunder Rosa, staying. Tony Storm, staying. Willow Nightingale, staying. Yuka Sakazaki, I'll say staying. And then on air personnel, Alex Abrahantes, staying. CJ Perry, going. Don Callis, staying. Jake the Snake Roberts, staying. Jose the Assistant, staying. Karen Jarrett, definitely staying. Maria Kanellis Bennett, I will say staying. Prince Nana, definitely staying. Ric Flair will stay until he gets into another situation where they're going to have to pull his ass off TV. Smart Mark Sterling, going. Sanjay Dutt, staying. Stokely Hathaway, staying. So that is all for AEW. Comings and goings there for AEW as far as my predictions go for 2024. All right, let's look at WWE. Let's look at their roster now. All right, let's see. Akira Tozawa, staying. Apollo Crews. I didn't know Apollo Crews was still in the WWE. Apollo Crews, going. Braun Strowman, 2024? No, going. Bronson Reed, staying. Brutus Creed, forget about it, staying. Chad Gable, staying. CM Punk, staying. Cody Rhodes, staying. Damian Priest, staying. Dexter Lumis. I am going to say, it's probably going to shock people because I'm a big fan of Dexter Lumis, a.k.a. Samuel Shaw. I'm going to say going. Dominic Mysterio, staying. Drew McIntyre, staying. Eric, Raymond Rowe, out on injury right now, but he'll be staying. Finn Balor, sticking around. Giovanni Vinci, staying. Gunther, staying. Ivar, staying. J.D. McDonough, staying. Jey Uso, staying. Jinder Mahal, staying. Johnny Gargano, staying. Julius Creed, staying. Kofi Kingston, staying. Ludwig Kaiser, staying. Miz not going nowhere. Odyssey Jones, not going anywhere. I'm going to say staying. Now, this name may shock some of you, but I'm going to say Ricochet. Going. R-Truth, staying. Sami Zayn, staying. Sangha, and Dashir, going. Seth freaking Rollins staying. Shinsuke Nakamura staying. Tommaso Ciampa staying. Veer going. Xavier Woods staying. All right, let's look at the women here. Becky Lynch staying. Candice LeRae. Shit. Going. Chelsea Green staying. Indy Hartwell. I like Indy Hartwell, but I'm going to go with a surprise here. I'm going to say going. Ivy Now staying. Katana Chance staying. Kaden Carter staying. Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan stays. Maxine Dupree. She's got to step it up. I'm going to say going. Hate to say that, but I'm going to say going. Natalia. I'm actually going to say going. Nia Jax staying. Nikki Cross. Oof. Damn, it's a tough one. I've said all kinds of cool ideas for the stables too and all that, and like, you know what? I can't do that to my girl. I've been a supporter of hers this long. I'm going to say staying. Piper Niven staying. Forget about it. She's starting to crank it up. Raquel Rodriguez, yeah, staying. Rhea Ripley, staying. Shayna Baszler, going. Sonya Deville, staying. Tegan Knox, going. Trish Stratus, forget about it. Valhalla, Sarah Rowe. She's really been stepping it up. No, she's safe. Xia Li. Going. Zoe Stark. Going. Is that everybody? Who we got now? Oh, wow. Now we got SmackDown. Okay. AJ Styles. Safe. Akeem. Nah, you got Authors of Pain getting ready to resurface. Yeah, Authors of Pain, Paul Ellering. Yeah, no, forget about it. Angel Garza. Going. Angelo Dawkins. Staying. Ashanti. The Adonis. Going. Austin Theory. Staying. Bobby Lashley. Staying. Butch. Pete Dunne. Staying. Cameron Grimes. I'm going to say going. Carlito. Staying. Cedric Alexander. Going. Cruz del Toro. Going. Dragon Lee. Staying. Elton Prince. Staying. Grayson Waller. Staying. Humberto Carrillo. Going. Jimmy Uso. Staying. Waquan Wild. Staying. Carl Anderson. Staying. Karrion Kross. Staying. Kevin Owens. Staying. Kit Wilson. Staying. LA Knight. Staying. Logan Paul. Forget about it. Staying. Luke Gallows. Staying. Montez Ford. Staying. Randy Orton. Staying. Rey Mysterio. Going. I've got Rey Mysterio retiring at this year's WrestleMania in a match against his son Dominic. Hair versus mask. Hair versus mask / career. I can see something like that going down. Ridge Holland. I appreciate what they've been trying to do with him as of late, but nothing seems to be sticking. Going. Roman Reigns. Come on, man. Forget about it. Santos Escobar staying. Sheamus staying. Solo Sikoa staying. Now, as far as big breakout years go, I'm expecting some big breakout years for just thinking about the roster, just all of them combined. I'm picturing Lash Legend having a really good, successful breakout year. Jade Cargill makes her debut at the Women's Royal Rumble. I can see him, Carmelo Hayes, have a nice, good breakout rookie year on the main roster. Because the draft stuff, it's just right around the corner. So I can see that going down. Solo Sikoa, going to continue his path of destruction from what he was doing in 2023. That'll continue to roll on in 2024. I see Big E coming back. I see Big E coming back at the Royal Rumble to surprise a whole bunch of people. I'm talking about Royal Rumble for this year, mind you. You got to create some really cool, big, awesome moments. Doesn't get any better than that. Be a nice, cool spot to see New Day reform there. Yeah, that'd be pretty badass. Let's tackle the women's division here. Alba Fire, safe. Asuka, safe. B-Fab. Oh, I like B-Fab. Going. Bayley, staying. Bianca Belair, staying. Charlotte Flair, staying. Dakota Kai, going. Isla Dawn, safe. Io Sky, safe. Kari Sane, safe. Michonne, Mia Yim, staying. Shotzi, Blackheart, safe. Tamina, safe. Zelina Vega, safe. Matter of fact, she just re-upped. Some of these people that I'm reading off, by the way, as far as predictions go for 2024, some of them just re-upped their deals. I know Zelina Vega was one of them. Cody Rhodes was another. There's like 2 other names I'm forgetting about right now. All right, let's see here. Is that it? And then you got NXT. All right, let's look at NXT. Andre Chase, Chase U, forget about it. Keep him. Keep him. He's safe. Axiom, safe. Baron Corbin, going. Boa, going. Braun Breaker, safe. Bronco Nima, going. Brooks Jensen, safe. We already talked about Carmelo Hayes. Channing Stacks, Lorenzo, safe. Charlie Dempsey, safe. Damon Kemp. I need to see an image of that person. Dante Chen. No. Going. Dijak, safe. Drew Gulak, safe. Duke Hudson, safe. Eddie Trope. I got to see a picture to re-jog my memory. Idris Anofi. Don't know who that is. Gable Steveson. Not going nowhere. Guru Raj. I don't know who that is. Hank Walker. Don't know who that is. Dragunov. Safe. Javier Bernal. I don't know who that is. Joe Coffey. I know who that is. Safe. Joe Gacy. Going. Josh Briggs. Staying. Lexus King. Oh, yeah. Lexus King. That's another one that's going to have a pretty good breakout year. I'm going to jump out there and say by summer, Lexus King should be your new NXT champion. Luca Crosfino. Who is that? I don't know who that is, y'all. I don't know who that is. Let's keep going. Malik Blade. I don't know who that is. Lucian Price. I don't know who that is. Miles Bourne. Don't know who that is. Nathan Frazier. I'll say safe. Noam Dar. Going. Uba Fimi. I don't know who that is. Oro Munsa. If that's who I think it is, safe. Tony D'Angelo. Tony D. Going. Trick Williams, safe. Tyler Bates, safe. Von Wagner, safe. Wesley, safe. Wolfgang, going. Women's division, Amari Miller. What was that? Cameron Clay. Doesn't ring a bell. Ariana Grace, I like her. Yeah, she's safe. Ava, Simone Johnson. Yeah, she's safe. Blair Davenport, safe. Cora Jade, safe. Cora Jade, look for her to have a big breakout year. Danny Palmer, Alexis. Yeah. She should, yeah. I like her. Yeah, she should be good. Electra Lopez, definitely safe. Fallon Henley, shown me enough. She's safe. Gigi Dolan, definitely safe. Izzy Dame, safe. JC James, safe. Jakara Jackson, I don't know who that is. Cameron Petrovic, I don't know who that is. Kalani Jordan, safe. Kiani James, safe. Lash Legend, safe. Lola Vice, safe. Laura Valkyra, safe. Michael Satuma, Miko Satomura, safe. Lakita Lyons. Look, my girl keeps getting injured. If she can stay healthy, right? You got to put an asterisk by her name. If she gets injured whenever she comes back, like within the first 4 months of being back, you can forget about it. They're going to be done with her. But I'm going to say safe for now, but that's a pending safe. Roxanne Perez, safe. Sol Roca, well, she's inactive right now, but so she's safe by default. Stevie Turner, I don't know who that is. Tatum Paxley, I don't know who that is. Thea Hall, safe. Tiffany Stratton, safe. Valentina Feroz, yeah, she's safe. Wendy Chu, going. I'm going to say going. All right, that's everybody for WWE. All right, that's everybody for WWE. Now, I wonder, wait. Now, I wonder what's going on with Impact Wrestling here. With Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling. I'm looking at the roster right now. Let's freaking go there. Let's go there. All right, we're looking at the Impact Wrestling roster here. Ace Austin, I'm going to say safe. Aiden Prince, safe. Alan Angels, going. Alex Shelley, safe. BG, Gajar, last name Gajar. I'm going to say safe. Black Taurus, safe. Brian Myers, safe. Bully Ray, going. Champagne Singh, not going anywhere. Chris Bay, going. Chris Sabin, safe. Crazy Steve, safe. Diener, safe. Dirty Dango, going. Eddie Edwards, going. Eric Young, safe. Flash Morgan Webster, safe. Frankie Kazarian, going. Jack Price, safe. Jai Vidal, safe. Jake Something, safe. Jason Hutch, don't know who that is. Joe Doring, just had cancer surgery a couple of months ago. No, they're gonna stick around. Joe Henry, I like Joe Henry, safe. John Schuyler, if that's who I think it is, safe. Johnny Swinger, like Johnny Swinger, safe. Jonathan Gresham, safe. Josh Alexander, safe. Kevin Knight, don't know who that is. Khan, don't know who that is. Kushida's done a better job over on Impact, safe. Laredo Kid, safe. Leon Slater, safe. Mark Andrews, safe. Mike Bailey, safe. Moose, it's going to shock y'all. I'm going to say going. For Moose, I'm going to say going. Oleg Prudius, I don't know who that is. I'd have to see a picture of them. PCO, I don't see PCO going anywhere. I think they just resigned too. Rhino, safe. Rich Swan, safe. Where's Rich Swan gonna go, really? I mean, seriously. Sheldon Jane, don't know who that is. Shura, oh, I know who that is. Safe, not going anywhere. I'm gonna say big breakout year. Big breakout year. I can see it being a case where under the right story arc, they could possibly be in the main event for a shot at the TNA World Heavyweight title. Steve Macklin, like Steve Macklin, safe. Tommy Dreamer, not going anywhere. Trey Miguel, safe. Definitely not going anywhere. Trent Seven, not going anywhere. Zachary Wentz, not going anywhere. All right, women's division. Alicia Edwards. Well, I just had her husband exit. I'm going to say going. Danny Luna. Wrestled under Chloe Smith. I'm having a hard time materializing the name. Giselle Shaw. I like Giselle Shaw. Not going anywhere. Jessica Havoc. She ain't going nowhere. I love me some Jessica Havoc. I'm sorry, Sammy Callahan, but your woman, she is fine. All right, I'm sorry, your woman is fine. No disrespect, brother. No disrespect. Nothing but love, baby. Nothing but love. Jody Threat. I haven't seen enough of this person, so I can't really comment. Jordan Grace. I'm gonna say going. I thought so she just recently came back now that I think about it. Hey, hold up. She just recently came back because she was gone for a little bit. I'm going to say stay. I'm going to say Killer Kelly. Killer Kelly she has really been picking it up, man. I'm going to say for Killer Kelly, safe. Kylan King, safe. Masha Slamovich, I'm going to say going. Rosemary. I don't know what it is with Rosemary. Rosemary's another one that I really, really like. I've been wanting to see Homegirl go to other promotions, but it just hasn't happened. I think she's going to stay right where she is. Savannah Evans. Haven't seen enough of them. Tasha Steeles. Love me some Tasha Steeles. I'm going to say going. Trinity, safe. Not going nowhere. Yeah, definitely not going anywhere. Wow, so that was Impact Wrestling. All right, so we just knocked out 3 promotions right there. I think what I'll do maybe for the Wednesday show, if you guys want me, I'll put up a poll leading up to the Wednesday show where if you all want me to do one for MLW and offer, like, look into the crystal ball, try to figure out, like, okay, who's going to have a big breakout year and all that other stuff. You can vote via a poll, and then depending on the results, that'll help me figure out if we'll get into it. If you also want me to do one on NWA, I'll do one on NWA as well for you guys and see what's up. And to the person asking if I saw their comment, reason why I didn't comment is because we talked about all of that within the first 40 minutes of the show. So best part when you're watching the show on YouTube is you can rewind it all the way back. Even though we're live, you can actually rewind all the way to the beginning and you can hear everything that I have to say. It actually fed into the 2024 predictions that we've done sporadically all throughout the night, but we just literally dedicated, what was that, maybe about 40 minutes to covering 2024 predictions. Comings and Goings, who's going to have some great breakout years for each respective promotion. And we even tackled what's going to happen with AEW's programming. We even tackled where WWE RAW is possibly going to be going at some point in 2024. So a lot of stuff that we had tackled just now and everything. I feel like I am missing something of importance here in regards to the predictions for 2024. And yes, we talked about Sasha Banks as well. AKA Mercedes Moné. We showed her a lot of love on here just now. But no, I feel like there's something I am missing. I don't know if it's maybe programming rights, or I feel like I'm missing out on something. No, we already talked about MJF. I think the thing that I'm thinking about right now is NWA and what's going to happen exactly with their programming, but we kind of already know what the deal is with that. So that's not really anything to be. Now, I think the real question to be asking is, will NWA in 2024 actually get a TV deal where, hey, this day and time, you'll be able to watch them, even if it's in syndication, will you be able to? And I'm going to say yes, despite the controversy that went down last year, I'm going to go ahead and say that they will, in fact, get a TV deal. I don't know whether that might be with Ion or Charge or if the Pursuit channel is still around. But I think somebody is definitely gonna take a chance on them, and they will get syndicated programming. I can definitely see that happening. I don't see them doing anything with the major TV networks as far as like weekend syndication goes, but I do see some type of syndication deal happening in place, somewhat similar to WOW, Women of Wrestling. Which brings me to another prediction. As far as WOW Women of Wrestling goes, and I'll talk a lot more about them as well as NWA and MLW. I'll talk about them on Wednesday's show. But WOW Women of Wrestling is definitely a promotion we need to talk about more as far as who's next, who can have a really breakout year as champion for that promotion, what new faces may come in to help out that promotion. I tell you this right now, I do see WOW Women of Wrestling touring a little bit more out there, to the point like any conventions, I can see them trying to do as much as they can to do more on location episodes of Women of Wrestling. I'll tell you that right now. I can definitely see that go down. But other than that, no, we're good, man. We're good. We are freaking good. Let me just double check any last minute news items before we get ready to wrap it up here. And yeah, I don't see anything breaking that's going on here. So we are actually good. So quick programming notes. Wednesday night, January 3rd, 2024, 10 p.m. Eastern after I wish it was after WWE RAW. That'd be something. Raw on Monday and Wednesday. Hot damn. No, we'll be live Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024, 10 p.m. Eastern after AEW Dynamite goes off the air. The first new Dynamite of the new calendar year. A whole lot of stuff is going to be going down on that one. That should be fun. We'll follow up with the conclusion to our 2024 wrestling predictions as well. And also, I'm going to reveal our wrestling awards categories on that show that you all will be able to take part in. We'll tally up the votes and finish up with the actual award show, probably most likely by the end of this month. So tune in Wednesday so you can hear the categories and all of that. Hey, be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the RCWR Show. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors as well. Without them and their kind contributions, content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. Shout out to my good friends over at ShopTotallyT-shirt.com. Whether you have a sports team, company, or charitable event and need custom t-shirts, hats, or hoodies, ShopTotallyT-shirt.com can help. Great quality items at great affordable prices with top-notch customer service. You can't beat all that. Hit them up today. ShopTotallyT-shirt.com. We're also brought to you in part by DoBack.com. If you're looking for the perfect gift for him, her, or for the kids, DoBack.com has you covered. You can get discounts up to 80% off, cashback offers up to 20% off. There's even coupons up to 50% off and so much more. All you got to do is just head over to DoBack.com and basically get rewarded for shopping online. It's that easy. We're also brought to you in part by the good folks over at CandyKingdomVT.com. If you love freeze-dried candy, you definitely need to hit them up. Their candies are crispy, crunchy, and bursting with delicious flavor. These guys have mastered the art of freeze drying candy. It's a really cool concept. Not everybody can do it right, but these guys definitely know how to do it. So hit them up today, CandyKingdomVT.com. Check that out. And yeah, we're clocking in at like 3 hours and 33 minutes. So we did a nice deluxe show for you guys. So for those of you that's just now tuning in live, remember you got the live rewind function and you can easily just go back, hear certain parts. Maybe later today when I get some energy, I'll properly tag by putting timestamps to make it easy for you guys to jump ahead so you can find the section that you want to, check out the most or whatnot, just to make it easier in general. Get at me on X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And until next go around, my pretty babies, I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Catch y'all Wednesday night after Dynamite. Peace, y'all. Take care.